All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. We are live. Conference finals time is finally started. The Western Conference Finals is going to get going tonight. We've got a lot to watch tonight, people. Too much to watch and not enough TVs, apparently, because as we all know, I'm sure you guys are locked in as well. I mean, the WNBA has started, of course. Keep up, guys. Keep up. Caitlin Clark and the Fever are playing, so we can't not have that game in the background, I guess. But I guess it is getting into sketchy territory. It's getting into sketchy background territory, status chat, because the Atlanta Dream are kind of taking... Well, I guess I'm getting to sidetrack, chat. I don't even have the Western Conference Finals game pulled up yet because, well, we do have, like I said, this WNBA game on in the background until now. Oh, geez, now it's on the speaker. Okay, there we go, chat. We're cooking. But the Sling TV won't let us watch multiple games, so we got to try to find a way to go around it here. Wink, wink, chat. Hey, yo. But I think we can still get it up on the TV either way. Oh, man, I think this was the wrong way, but oh, well. When it kicks us out, chat, I guess we'll just have to fire it back up. But make sure we get it cast up to the right TV. Okay, and we're going, chat. But it is also the 20th anniversary of... And don't do it, I have the high ground! So, chat, we've got to watch Star Wars as well, too. Shout out. But, again, we'll see what happens with some of these WNBA. I think it was maybe just the two that are going right now. But we can double check as well, too. The Aces were kind of cooking the Suns, chat, cooking the Sun to start, so... maybe with the way that Durant and Booker and Budenholzer were all getting along this year, maybe the Aces could have cooked the Suns as well. But no, Connecticut was the team they were getting the win over in this one. So I think it was just those two for tonight. And then we've only got the fourth quarter of this Fever game, but it is still, like we said, it's 11 points right now. The Dream have the lead on the Fever, so it is just on that borderline of, oh no, can the Fever kind of keep it interesting? What's going to happen? But the defense is definitely been physical. And Ryan Howard, chat, shout out, has definitely risen to the occasion. We could look up the stats here and double check the scoring totals for certain. But she did have like a 9-point solo run to start the quarter herself, this third quarter, that kind of helped give them the lead a little bit. That they have right now. So, like I said, it's been kind of even for the most part, but that's why. And Caitlin Clark, of course, is a star in her own right, but this is the elevating thing of it all. And of course, you're as you watch, and of course as you get more locked in, and as the fandom becomes more, as you just get more clued in, chat, you will get to know and develop the relationships with the other star players, of course, just based on their own star merit. But for for people like myself, like maybe the Dream wouldn't have been the first game that we're throwing on, the first team that we're just gravitating to watch. But it's like, okay, we're basic WNBA fans, we're gonna throw on Caitlin Clark, and then you've got a player on the other team like Ryan Howard who just going toe to toe, putting up a star performance. And I know that there was some storylines I remember with her and Team USA, maybe, or the All-Star team. I forget exactly. Chat, we're bad fans. But I remember her being in the mix for some of those high-level teams. So maybe the debate was because Caitlin Clark also got left off the team, so maybe her name was in the mix as like another honorable mention, or was she on the team? Chat, was she one of the people that's like, get her off the team? We've got to get Caitlin Clark on the team. So maybe that, because if that is part of the storylines, then maybe that's why she's having such a vengeful performance tonight, chat. Let's see. The Wikipedia search is going to be brutally specific here. U.S. women's national basketball team, chat. Do they have the basketball team here? Soccer teams. Multiple soccer teams, of course. One of the most just successful teams that we've had. But, let's see here, chat. Basketball. Oh, it's going to make us spell the whole thing out. I guess we can just go for the roster here. Quick search. See who we had. Because, make no mistake, chat. Seems like both these players would be a lock to be on next time. It's still only giving us the soccer chat. We can only figure out who's on the soccer team. Shout out. I mean, again, a dominant team. I think, well, still a dominant team, chat. I mean, they're making their way. It's just still a developmental team, right? A lot of young players, I think, still. Okay, do we see Ryan Howard, chat? I don't think so. I mean, am I gonna know every WNBA player just by looking at the rosters, chat? I don't know, but I think maybe the stars. At this point, we'd have a pretty good lock in. So I don't think so. Yeah, chat. Doesn't look like it. Maybe the 3-on-3 team. Do we have to try to find the 3-on-3 team? Is it on here? It's gonna be. Oh, maybe not, chat. Oh, it's just gonna be all the different rosters. Though this is kind of crazy. We can go back. The 1992 women's national roster. Okay, chat. Since we're here, Vicky Bullitt, Deidre Charles, Cynthia Cooper, of course. I guess a stacked team. Chat. Teresa Witherspoon, Teresa Grentz is the head coach. They're not gonna have any rosters with like Cheryl Miller on it or anything. 2000s, the 2019 women's pre-Olympic qualifying team roster. Hey, yo, chat. Oh, they were sending the stars, chat. They were sending the stars. Because sometimes, and maybe we don't know necessarily the qualifiers in all the tournaments that like the men's Team USA teams are playing in, but it does seem like sometimes they send like the G League team. You know, they'll have their specific Team USA qualifying teams that they send to the tournament. Okay, chat. We might have to battle the bots to get to watch the start of this Minnesota versus OKC game. But of course, Cleveland, or not with Cleveland, but with Boston, the Celtics getting eliminated from the playoffs, they were the reigning champion. So any thought of course, a back-to-back champion is out the window at that point. But also, with Jokic getting eliminated by the Thunder, any chance of like a multiple-time champion is out the window as well too, chat. So, we don't want to have to download an app. I don't want to get a game, chat. Here we go. So we're going to see a new face. The Larry O'Brien, chat. It's going to have a new home. I guess the Knicks, of course, are the one team that could potentially... It's not technically a new title because they do have the 70s titles, but at least for us, chat, and again, the 70s is crazy. The 70s is crazy. And they did have, of course, we got to give respect to the team in the 90s and the early 2000s. They were in multiple conference finals as well. So it's not like, for the entire franchise history, they've been a disaster anyways, because they kind of get that thrown on them as well. But if you do the math as well, I mean, what year was that championship? I guess we're not watching the Eastern Conference Finals tonight, but at least in the West anyways, a new chance for a new champion out of the West. The new face of the league stuff, of course, is going to be in full swing with these two players playing, Shea and Anthony Edwards. Oh, chat, the bots are going to be working crazy tonight, working overtime. Let's see. Caitlin Clark better make this score close quick. Otherwise, chat. It is what it is. We just got to be responsible fans and make sure we're cluing in on the best games. So if one of the games looks like it's going to be over, I mean, what do you do, of course? But the home crowd, chat, honestly, for OKC, because Minnesota, again, was in the conference finals last year. So this game one can be a little bit of Jaden. I mean, you see, was that McDaniels or Alexander Walker? The screens we've got, AO chat. But I guess we'll get it back on the big screen in a second. But I mean, their comfortability, I guess 5-0, 8-0 on the ESPN right away. I was gonna say the Sling TV's behind, but we'll just call it the Sling TV for right now, chat. Hey yo, the stream is a little bit behind right now, but their comfortability, again, in this early game as well too, throughout the series as OKC settles in, as they get more used to the big moments. But maybe you never know. Maybe just Minnesota, again, their ability to be comfortable in this big moment is a little bit more elevated than OKC. And because they were there last year, I would trust them in this kind of environment. But OKC's home crowd, of course, is just insanely tough. So, I mean, everybody's matching tonight right now. Everybody's locked in. The fans are ready to go. I guess we don't have sound on for this one, but Edwards right in Chet's grill, chat. A 3 to start. So if the league is rigged, chat, I mean, there is a case that, of course, you know, Jokic is the best player in the league. Jokic might win the MVP this year. Oh, Shea with the missed free throw right away. But maybe they want just their top guy to continue to advance. And as a star, maybe there's a baseline of performance that you get. Okay, like Jokic is in these games. Maybe, you know, we can argue Denver, the market value or whatever compared to some of these teams. I guess maybe not compared to the teams that are in it right now, chat. Hey, yo, but again, with Jokic, maybe you could rig it just for the fact that you're rigging it for 40, 20, and 10 games and just super awesome performances. Bubba Watson, courtside for the Fever game, chat. Down by 7. Here we go. They're storming back. I guess we can't really say they're storming back because the Storm, of course, is a team. So, I mean, you know, there's going to have to be like a Fever thing as well, too. And I don't know if we can say like a Fever pitch thing as well, too, because I don't know if that movie's good enough. But I guess we'll keep workshopping it. Is Howard still on Clark, chat? Are they mixing up the defense? I guess we still got a couple minutes left here in the fourth quarter, so we still haven't quite locked in on the Dream substitution patterns at this point in the season. I guess they've only played one game, so maybe they haven't quite, you know, they've still got some stuff to work out there themselves, chat. Oh, deep 3! 7.5 left, chat. Cuts it to 4. Forget about the Western Conference Finals. Here we go. You want to talk about environments, chat? Indiana, the fans are gonna be broke, chat. Indiana, both basketball teams, Eastern Conference Finals. The WNBA is must-see TV at this point. You've got to go. You've got to be there. Halliburton, Caitlin Clark, they're too much fun. I guess same arena and all that stuff. And I mean, chat, it's fun to see these two environments next to each other. I mean, you know, could we get hot takey here and say Caitlin Clark in the regular season compared to an NBA playoff game? Maybe there is some legitimacy. But just in terms of, and I know, you know, at this point to compare the sports is not even really fair because the WNBA is elevated as legitimate. It needs us to sit here on the couch and say it's legitimate. It's like, no. But just in terms of, again, you know, more eyeballs are pointed to it. More people are watching it. And, you know, again, if we're just looking at sort of, you know, real stuff as well, too. And it's, you know, positive to look at this point as well, too. So it's not a bad thing. But, you know, the real ticket sales and stuff as well, too. The venues, I mean, you know, these basketball games are the same thing right now. We're watching the NBA in the arena. We're watching the WNBA in the arena. We're watching high-level play. We're watching similar styles and similar, you know, capabilities in terms of what you know, just the, again, like the 2K animation packages that the players are doing out there on the courts. Like, I mean, chat, you know, it's right there, chat. It's right there. The W is fun. Caitlin Clark. And like we're saying, it's just going to continue to elevate the whole thing. And, you know, I really do think, chat, that, and maybe, again, Jokic out of the playoffs right now. So, like, is stock like 2% down on Jokic because he just lost again in a game 7? But, oh, Randall, chat. Randall versus Lou Dort. Randall's one of the few guys that could probably actually legitimately, like, knock over Lou Dort. But, yeah, that Timberwolves just front line is going to be, of course, a challenge, chat. Chet, can he hold up? I'm looking at Randall. I'm looking at Naz Reid. It's like, oh, off the bus. Edwards, mid-range. Uh-oh, chat. Edwards is scary. Edwards is a scary player. I mean, Edwards was one of our, you know, just the most terrifying players left in the play, you know, going into the playoffs in general. But as the playoffs get narrowed down, and it's like, oh no, it's actually happening. Like, he's winning the games because they didn't even really need him to go full Edwards mode in that Warriors series. So is that, you know, in a way save him for this game? Or, oh, chat, the block on defense, the two-way impact. Conley, is he going to get the ring, the layup? Conley's going to have to make a layup if he wants to get a ring, chat. Because Conley, I mean, shout out. I know it's, you know, it's not even quite Chris Paul and that Phoenix team, because Chris Paul and that Phoenix team was still, was he second team All NBA that year? He might have been. I think there was a real conversation between him and Booker about like who do we kind of give the credit for the impact of this team? Booker scoring, Chris Paul's playmaking, but just Chris Paul's history as well too of just impacting lineups and constant 50-win teams. This team becomes a 60-win team. Now all of a sudden, Chris Paul's got in this team. They're in the finals. And was Chris Paul hurt that playoffs, Chad? I mean, I'm sure he had some hamstring injury, but I don't remember. I think he was actually playing in the finals games that year. You gotta love. I mean, and Chris Finch, of course, underrated as a coach as well. You gotta love the fact that he just looks upset. I mean, technical foul's not great, but the looking upset, which is the great start by the team, is always a good sign. But what we were rambling about Caitlin Clark and Jokic, chat, and I think the Minnesota front line as well too. Oh, and Edwards, of course. Edwards, a scary player. I guess we're all over the place, chat. Like I said, there's a lot going on right now. We don't even have Revenge of the Sith on yet. We need to get an ITV. Get a third TV in here. Get the TVs on. Let's see what's going on. But Clark, the step back, the pivot. The handoff off the Boston screen. Is it going to get it? No. It bounces out. Atlanta's still alive. I guess there's still 6 minutes left, chat. We're still in a game. Howard versus Clark here. And, Griner as well, too. And Gray for Atlanta, I think, was a big scorer in game one. So this Atlanta team is got a feisty top five. Feisty closing five is definitely going to be a competitive lineup to face against. So, is it an off turnover, chat? Offensive turnover. The pressure, the full court pressure on Clark. Not able to get it to go, but the foul on the other end by Boston. So, I mean, good pressure, chat. But that's the risky run, of course, getting behind the offensive player like that. So, is what it is. Shea getting to the free throw line a little bit, it looks like, kind of slowing the game down. Is going to have to be what is the thing. So, I mean, again, if we were looking at sort of the bigger picture sort of perspective for the at least the Western Conference anyways, but, face of the league stuff, it's like Shea, yeah, you can tell I'm already saying it. Shea's, of course, right up there with these guys as the great player, but of course he's just not quite in the conversation, and maybe it's not fair to him as the face of the league stuff, but in terms of, and that stuff, of course, carries over into the confidence on the court and the team building stuff as well. So with Edwards, again, like for the playoffs, this is still kind of in line with what we were thinking. I was still terrified of Edwards this entire time. Just his, at least the potential for what Edwards is. Because, I mean, again, like some other guys like Curry and LeBron, obviously, their peaks what they have been. But what levels can they get to now? The health of just them individually, the capabilities of the roster built around them. But for both of these guards to be put in a spot where they can, big time shots at the end of the games, chances to really control. And I mean, maybe even Shea as well too. I mean, for as much as the Thunder get sort of that better team vibe, and that may become a factor in the bigger moments, like we're saying, if they just Shea has to kick it out to the corner and just the Thunder have better people out there for three, just hitting those shots and, more capable players at the end of the games. But Shea, again, like the Timberwolves and the Warriors were hurt as well too, but the Timberwolves didn't even need Edwards as much in that finals, that first game, or that last series against the Warriors. Whereas the Thunder, like, they're not winning that last series with Shea. So that kind of does make the MVP thing almost reflect a little bit as well too. And again, just different opponents. Like, you got the best player in the league versus the Warriors don't have their best player on the court, who's still in that argument for first team All NBA conversation. But for Shea, again, like his responsibility on this OKC team, he might actually have to carry more responsibility in controlling them throughout these games. And then again, at the end, in the fourth quarters, if it's just Shea breaking down guys one-on-one, just kicking out to open or just kicking out to three-point guys, then maybe the Thunder have better guys in that situation. And maybe the Thunder have more options as well too. But the Timberwolves are going to be capable, like we're saying, they're going to be experienced. They're going to be physically imposing to match up against. And they're going to have Edwards to have all that control stuff at the end of the games. But with the way Randall has been playing, with the way Naz Reid can hit big shots in these moments as well too. Like they may not need Edwards as much as the Thunder may need Shea as well too, which is again a little bit maybe not even how you would just think about the matchup lining up going into the series, especially with the Thunder being the dramatic favorite as well too, and the team like we're saying that gets that sort of title for having depth, and they're running another I say another trailer, chat, because they've been running a lot lately, but this ballerina movie that's going to be dropping in a week or two with Ana de Armas, I mean, looks great. Of course, anything in the John Wick franchise is going to be intriguing. Anything with Ana de Armas is going to be intriguing. So it's like, okay, well, it does seem like it's checking off a lot of boxes, but there's like 2% of me that's like, okay, are they going to kill John Wick in this movie, chat? I guess, spoiler alert, we haven't seen John Wick 4. So I guess, does he die in the end of John Wick? Maybe he's already dead. I don't know. So maybe well, I guess if he's already dead, then they wouldn't kill him. Kill him twice, chat. I guess they've killed John Wick multiple times before. So maybe it's not even a hot take. Maybe I'm not, maybe it's not even 2% now. It's like 100%. Yeah, John Wick will die in this movie. It's just, I guess, will he die finally, or will he die and be resurrected? And it's like, oh, now we're in John Wick 2. I guess I don't know what the backstory is leading into this ballerina movie, but like, because wasn't there some quotes about Keanu in John Wick, and he's like, oh, I don't know, chat. He's like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I can't hold up anymore. The CTE is getting too crazy. So maybe Ana de Armas is like, well, if you're getting a little tired, maybe I can put you out of your misery. Hey, yo, chat. Maybe has she done that in a movie for John Wick before? I don't know. But I guess reunited on screen once again, chat. Are they going to on ESPN when they're breaking down the film, are they going to be like, and this is the previous movie that they were in? Oh, John Wick, he's in the shower. Hey, yo, chat. Jim, big fourth out, chat. But I guess double timeout, chat is crazy. Is crazy. But yeah, with it, I guess we were saying if the league was rigged as well too. I guess would they rig it for Jokic is a possibility. But that goes back to Edwards and the Shea thing. Is I do think that, of course, they probably would want Edwards more in this spot just because of the conversation that he's in right now for that face of the league type stuff. And for the East, maybe the Knicks, chat, it does seem like the bigger market, of course, just would be the New York side of things. So if you went the New York and then just them being back in the finals, Brunson versus Halliburton's a really interesting conversation. But, Brunson's definitely captivated the NBA and the sports audience as well, too. So maybe this is the outcome that the NBA wants. So we're going to have to monitor here how the game is being steered for Minnesota, making sure that the Thunder get a fair shake. And the Edwards guarding minutes is going to be interesting as well too, because they have Case and Wallace on him right now. I mean, Case and Wallace on Edwards is going to be a real leveling moment for Case and Wallace, because we love Case and Wallace. Not to say that he can't do a great job, but Edwards is just a different level athlete as well too, chat. And Case and Wallace does have a little bit of that Drew Holiday, can guard the bigger players. Oh, just shade, chat. Patient, the mid-range, the pull-up. Stuff of beauty. Like we're saying with that Booker stuff, it is a little Booker-ish with what he's doing, but obviously, it's a little bit of a step up as well, too, being the lead guy without really having Chris Paul by his side as well, too. So, 4 minutes left. Caitlin Clark back down by 9. Come on, Caitlin, make a decision. Do you want to win the game? We got to get this game back on the big screen. I want to actually see what's going on. No, shout out, chat. It's all good. We can be patient. We can wait our turn. We just got to be patient like Shea, cooking Julius Randle right there. Do we need to rank who we want to win the ring, actually? Because I think everybody wants to see Mike Conley win the ring, chat, again. So maybe can the league rig this for Mike Conley? If the league is just going to rig anything. So maybe if he's actually making those layups, it could still be fun to actually have him as a contributing part of the team instead of like, oh, moral support Mike, chat. We don't want him to become moral support Mike. He can actually still be an impactful rotation, control the offense type guy. Just because of some of the defensive stuff, you're going to think that maybe the closing lineups are still going to lean toward more of a DiVincenzo Edwards backcourt. And then, like we're saying, some of that size and versatility in the front line. But throughout the course of the game, they're going to need him in his pace and his control as well. So if he's going to get looks like that, chat, that he missed earlier, hey, yo. Jalen Williams in transition. So the OKC Thunder have the lead, 16-17. The minute they go to the bench, I mean, they didn't even go to the bench that dramatically, chat. It's still, I mean, of course, the Timberwolves have the rotation. It's not like they're dipping into the bench at this point in the year. Naz Reid for 3. Oh, DiVincenzo, the tip back, chat. Uh-oh, if Naz Reid's not getting the threes, are the Timberwolves fans sweating a little bit? That's not good. McDaniels over dribbling was the turnover that led to the Williams transition bucket. So, like we were saying, you know, of course, I think the Timberwolves, I guess they're just more streaky as well, too, than the Thunder. The Thunder are just going to have, the Thunder are also streaky as well, too, Chad, a little bit sneaky, but their defense, but the Timberwolves have defense. I mean, this just, I guess the moral of the story is this is a closer series than I think whatever those odds were that I was seeing on the TVs at work, Chad. Because, well, I guess the one that I saw for OKC was they were minus 330 to win the series. So ultimately, you know, winning the series is winning the series. Yeah, you win it in 6 or 7, it's still a win. The minus 330 still cashes, chat. But it's like, okay, I don't know if that's the point of the mine. I don't think they're like, okay, well, they're definitely going to win this in 7, so lock it in, minus 330. Like, I don't think that's the point, I guess. But it does seem like, of course, it's going to be closer, and the bench moments are going to be big, the depth here, but do they trust Jalen Williams, chat, to run the team by himself? I guess it's going to be more of that second quarter start time as well, too, when they get Shea off the court. Because I imagine he'll play most of the first quarter here. Oh, settling for the deep 3. It's what Minnesota's going to want. So like we're saying, that's why you want to rig this for Jokic, because there's not going to be well, there could be still a stretch where they really stall out, but especially the Nuggets without Jokic when they have to take him to the bench. But the veteran capability of like, okay, just we need a good shot here. Let's get this to go. So, you know, we get to have these young guys prove themselves in that moment. And Shea with that mid-range pull-up that he had a little bit earlier, it's like, okay, that's the type of settle it down shot. I mean, their ability as well, too, to just go offense to defense is definitely crazy. But maybe that's where Conley really starts to become a separating factor, Chad. It's like, okay, let's settle this down a little bit. I'm the veteran guy out here. I guess Conley's playoff experience, Conley's Western Conference Finals experience. Uh-oh, chat. Can he dip back into that to power this team? I don't necessarily know, but he does have a lot more moments, anyways, to rely on. So maybe his presence can be calming in this type of stuff as well, too. Okay, chat. Fever down 6, 2.5. They're at the free throw line. A chance, I guess, to cut it to 4 here. And I guess what we were saying about Caitlin Clark as well, too, chat. We'll tie all these ends up together at some point. But I do think that, of course, and maybe this is not even a hot take. Maybe she's already even been in these conversations. But, I mean, the best basketball player in the world conversation is definitely on the table for her as well, too. Because, and again, not to say that she wasn't in that before, but the college competition thing is a little bit weird. It's like, okay, there is, you know, professional basketball players dominating a professional level. Not to disrespect any of the college players, Chet. Like, I mean, you know, Cooper Flagg is as good as what percent of the 90% of the NBA? How much in just year 1 we expect him to be an impactful level guy right away and all this different stuff. So it's not to say that, again, these young guys and these younger players aren't in the conversations already as some of the best in the world. But just if you have to actually narrow it down, you're still going to gravitate toward the ones that are actually dominating the professional competition. And not to say that, again, she wasn't awesome in year 1, but, you know, there is just a slight adjustment that I think is fair to say that happened, chat. You know, settle down. We're not criticizing Caitlin Clark here. To say that she might have been like the 3rd or 4th best player in the WNBA last year. But now, of course, it's just really in conversation for her as the two-way thing really ascends, as the 20 and 10 stuff really starts to rack up on each other. So not to say that, of course, the numbers are going to be the main thing, but Indiana, of course, if they can actually be a playoff team as well, too, and if we can prove it in a playoff run, then that can be, the deciding factor. But just a 25, 10, and 5 tonight, chat. 25 points, 10 assists, and then 5 rebounds. 5 of 11 from the three-point line. So, we were debating, like, could there be, and, that season is obviously still on the table, but could there be a season where she breaks, like, a scoring record and an assist record? And I think the assist record could definitely be on the table already. The scoring record, she would have to get to like 28 a game. So I guess she could, if she hits one more 3 here, she's at 28 tonight. So it's not impossible for even this season, I guess, that she could do that. But, and Jokic, chat. Jokic just is, Jokic is so good. Giannis is just so good. Asia Wilson as well too, Breanna Stewart, like all these people are still definitely in the conversation. But I mean, I guess she enters it in even a more real way this year as well, because like we're saying, she's checked off okay, now she's played against professional competition, she's adjusted, she can like fully get to her spots, play her game a little bit, fully a little bit more comfortable and confident in this picture. So I mean, we can't write off Asia Wilson as well too, who I think was right there with best, and maybe like just best scorer as well too in the world. Again, Jokic and Giannis defensively. I guess Giannis defensively, chat, versus Caitlin Clark defensively. I guess, again, Caitlin Clark's three-point shooting versus Giannis's three-point shooting. But Giannis is still, the equivalent, his league scorer compared to what Caitlin Clark is in her league. And he does have, again, the playmaking thing is not there as well, too, in the full scale. But the two-way thing is there as well. So that's what I'm saying, it's just it's in the argument. And not having Jokic to watch in these NBA moments is definitely going to help. So maybe she's the best basketball player playing right now. I don't know if Jokic is going to go play in some Slovenian league somewhere. I guess we can't rule out Brunson as well too either, chat. Or Halliburton. Indiana has the 2 best basketball players remaining playing right now, active. Indiana 2-point lead, 2-point deficit. The Dream with the 2-point lead. Making it dramatic here at the end, chat. 2-point lead. OKC down by 2 as well. But, and I love all the Indiana stuff as well too. With like the city is in good hands. They've got Caitlin Clark, Tyrese Halliburton, and Anthony Richardson. Hey yo, chat. Is this Apex Mountain for Anthony Richardson? Probably, the season after he subbed himself out of a game. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe the Combine is still in the mix for Apex Mountain for Anthony Richardson. But to be in the conversation with Tyrese Halliburton and Caitlin Clark right now is also definitely a highlight as well too, chat. So, I mean, we're not giving up hope. He can still be that guy. And we definitely still, want to get the jersey, chat. We really hope to get the jersey. Maybe we'll just get the jersey someday anyways. As like a, hey, this was a fun guy on the team. Remember the Anthony Richardson run? Not everybody has to be, I guess, an all-pro player. Not everybody has to win the Super Bowl for your team to be like, yeah, I want the jersey. It can just be, it can be personal, I guess, attachment, favorite players, all that stuff. Quentin Nelson hasn't won a Super Bowl, but, he's the all-pros and all that stuff. And I guess technically we don't have a Quentin Nelson jersey. So, we'd have to actually get the Quentin Nelson jersey before we get the Anthony Richardson, I guess. But minute 20 left. Fever down 2. The Dream, chat. Here we go. Can they close this out? They've got some pros on this lineup. And Howard's been awesome tonight as well, too. So, like we're saying, with Griner in the mix. And and Brianna Jones, chat. I was like, okay, I know who this is. But I just the name wasn't registering. But yeah, Brianna Jones, a stud as well, too. Another offensive foul turnover, though. Travel for Brianna Jones. Hey, yo, chat. The refs not being nice tonight. Are they thinking this is the NBA playoffs? What's going on? It's just regular season. Give them a break. Let Brianna Jones cook. Maybe if it was the NBA, they'd let her travel. Maybe they need to ref it like it's the NBA. That's the next step, chat. Start letting the players bend the rules for the game. Yeah, I mean, she definitely steps through with the pivot there, but I don't know, chat. That's not too aggressive. It's not like we haven't seen. Speaking of Giannis, has Giannis never carried the pivot before? Giannis is kind of a sneaky, he'll move the pivot foot guy. I think it's happened a time or two. I don't know if we need to necessarily check the tapes. I don't know who leads the league in pivot foot moves, chat. Let us know, I guess. DMS Remington on Instagram. If you're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm a Suns fan, and it was definitely Nurkic back in the day or whatever. But, if there's a guy on your team. Because I'm trying to think, like, the Spurs don't have a crazy, this guy gets a ton of travels during the game. Which, discipline team, fundamentals, and well-executed, all that stuff. But doesn't necessarily, I think, get the travels in the same way. Travel breakdown, chat. Who knew Rem and Sam? The Rem and Sam travel channel. Our first travel channel segment. I guess Rem and Sam going abroad. Ayo, chat. But offensive rebound from Minnesota there. Going back up by 2. So here we go, chat. The Fever have a chance to tie or take the lead. Hey, yo. I think kind of Caitlin Clark wants a 3. I mean, it's her game. Is that Kelsey Mitchell? Kelsey Mitchell is at the left hand. Is she a lefty, chat? I forget. But beautiful left-handed shot, or at least going to the left. The layup ties the game. The Dream still have a chance. We can't count them out. They have a lane. Oh, they pass it up for a 3. And they pass up on the 3. A step back. It wasn't a bad look. It was straight on, just a little bit short, but it felt like they had a couple opportunities. Caitlin Clark pushes the pace, the mid-range. Oh, she misses Chet. The offensive rebound, the chaos in transition, and the Dream can't box out. Oh, no, Chet. Clark to Boston, the pick and roll. Boston draws the foul. Boston, I feel like, has been really good tonight as well, too, Chet. Do we need to check the stats? The free throws, a chance to take the lead on free throws. First quarter winding down in the Western Conference Finals. Chat, we've got action. Boston driving to the rim. Who got the foul? Oh, was that Griner with the help? Did she foul out? Oh, Griner. Brittany, you know better. You've been in the league long enough. You can't get that little help foul like that. Let the defender just play. I mean, Boston definitely a chance. Yeah, fouled out, chat. Boston definitely a chance to just go up and get that layup. So, have a chance to, I guess, 88% for free throws, chat. She's pretty money. Oh, she missed. She missed. I knew that was going to happen. Sorry, Fever fans. I was going to say, I don't know if, you make the 2, you have that opportunity. So it kind of works, chat. Maybe Griner sacrificing for the team, Ayo. The foul works out. Okay, she gets the second one to go. But a 1-point game, the Dream can take the lead. They can win on the last shot. Howard can be the hero, chat. Hero ball, Howard. Here we go. Get the screen. Brianna Jones, set a screen. They're letting her cook one-on-one. That's got to be a foul. It definitely is, chat. Brunson-level job of just willing the foul on offense. Not the cleanest drive. I don't know where the screen was from the offense. I guess just let her cook one-on-one. Great job by Kelsey Mitchell for the most part. Just sometimes, again, that drive can be a little too chaotic. You're like, oh, well, where's this player going? And, she's wrapping her up there. It is what it is. So I guess she's got to make both as well, too, chat. Could you get the first? There we go. Swish. Ties it up. So a chance to take the lead in 9 seconds. Indiana does have a timeout. Can they set something up? 9 seconds left. A chance for Howard to hit 20. There we go, chat. 20 for Howard. Great performance. I guess we could go to the box score here. Real quick and see what we got. Is this going to spoil it, chat? This might spoil the end of the game, unfortunately. But let's see. Just in case it hasn't yet, maybe we can scroll down and not look at the final. Okay, we're good to go. Fever timeout. We have to be careful. Oh, chat! There we go. It goes final. They're not able to get it to go. Oh, here we go. Here's the last play. What happens? Clark with the inbound. Is that... Oh, who is that, chat? Mitchell or Boston or somebody gets the inbound. I don't know who got the shot there, but you think if you have Caitlin Clark as the inbounder, the play would be to, you'd set up a play to run it off as the inbound. Oh, chat, Edwards is going to the locker room. Edwards is going to the locker room. Oh, man, chat. Speaking of the high ground, Edwards! Did Obi-Wan just get him with the lightsaber? Looks like he's okay. But not an Achilles. I don't know, chat. Slow walk, not really limp. Not necessarily, leaning on a trainer or anything like that. But I don't know. First quarter, was he just going to the bathroom? We don't have the sound on. We're overreacting. Okay, chat. Shout out to the Fever for a dramatic comeback there. Shout out to the Dream for closing that one out. And yeah, you see the WNBA. The only other game was Vegas Sun in Vegas, chat. Kept cooking. First win of the season. 1-1. Here's what we like to see. Shout out. Asia Wilson. What do we have tonight, chat? Oh, no, Asia Wilson. Oh, wait a second. Looking at the wrong. I was like, wait, what? Oh, 22. 10-4. 3 steals, 2 blocks. Jewel Lloyd. Of course, the big trade, sending Kelsey Mitchell to the Sparks. If that was the replace move anyway, if that was all the same move, if I'm getting that right. But Jackie Young with 2 for 2 from 3-point range, 5 for 9 from the field. Her 3-point shooting consistency is going to be very important this year. And Chelsea Gray as well, too, back fully healthy, a full season, just separated back and ready to go is going to be a good thing as well, too. Not necessarily the 3-point shooting, a major factor tonight, chat, but, you got time. You got time to work on that, I guess. Kia Stokes as well, too. And I think Kate Martin got scooped up in the expansion draft, if I'm not mistaken, chat. Let me see here. Is she on the Valkyrie? Star player for the Valkyrie, maybe? Yeah. At least on the Valkyrie. I don't know what the stats were for the first game. I guess we can check it out here, chat. Maybe impressive enough to get their own page. Let's see. Oh, chat. 20 minutes, though. So, getting a chance is what you like to see. But, okay, let's get these games switched around, chat. Move OKC, Minnesota over to the main TV. And 20th anniversary. We'll throw a little Revenge of the Sith in the background and have fun watching that as well, too. So, quick break. We'll be right back. Well, there we are. We're fully back now. Let's get the game going up here. I guess 99% back, chat. But the Wolves, it doesn't matter. I guess it does matter that Edwards is out. But at least for right now, they're hanging with the Thunder. The Thunder, they're running a little J-Dub, Caruso, Wiggins. I guess they just called timeout, so I didn't see. Oh, Hartenstein on the floor there, chat. So no Shea as well, too. I don't know if Dagnall gets a little... how much do you want to start breaking sort of your routine and your rhythm of what you guys do as a team, where you see a moment where Edwards, grabs his ankle after awkward landing. Oh, man, they're going to take us down for watching that highlight, chat. But, you kind of wonder how much of your routine do you want to stick to? Do you want to capitalize on the moment, chat? They don't have their star player. Do you put your own star in there and see if you can get a little bit of an advantage? But Randall hits a 3. Randall's 4 for 5 from 3 right now, chat. 13 points. I mean, offensively, again, they're going to need him right now, but just that kind of offense in general. And again, with his offense evolving the way it did in the last series, I mean, he's another one of those guys. Him and Towns both as well, too. You see, it's funny because, again, we've talked about the face. I guess we'll get to the movie. Do we just play the movie, chat? Because this is a little bit of a longer one as well, too. So we'll just sprinkle. I guess we're not Star Wars experts, so it'll just be more like, hey, Darth Vader's cool every now and then. I guess we really don't even get Vader in this movie. Oh, spoiler alert, chat. Hey, yo. But, yeah, anyways, we're talking about so we just hit play. We're going. 20th Century Fox is on screen, so, yeah, follow along. But, we've been talking about the Face of the League stuff where it's the young guys ascending and then, Jokic and Giannis giving them the respect for what they've been over the past half decade or so. But, you also see the shift in the... every other aspect of it as well, too, chat. The top-end talent's going to shift. The middle talent, the second to, fourth to fifth team All-NBA, that those hypothetical teams in there, like that type of talent is going to shift. Of course, the whole league's just going to shift. So, you look at a guy like Towns and Randall who are, 7, 8, 9 years in their career working. I guess we were seeing some posts. Towns is a decade into his career at this point. You've got established veterans who are, I guess I'm going to get distracted, chat. Episode 3. The Republic is crumbling under attacks by ruthless Sith Lord. Oh, Count Dooku? They're heroes on both sides. Evil is Dooku in this one, chat? Hey, yo. Count Dooku? I thought he died in the second one. In a stunning move, the fiendish droid leader General Grievous has swept into the Republic capital and kidnapped Chancellor Palpatine, leader of the Galactic Senate. As the Separatist droid army attempts to flee the besieged capital with their valuable hostage, 2 Jedi Knights lead a desperate mission to rescue the captive Chancellor. So, I mean, I guess I can't speak for all movie fans, but for maybe, I guess Star Wars movie fans, because of course there's different levels to Star Wars fans. There's different levels to any fans of anything. But, there's the Star Wars fans that we have. I think, a lot of people in our lives most people are Star Wars fans. But I would say for me, I'm a fan more of the Star Wars movies themselves. It's just like I'll throw the movies on, some of the shows and the newer stuff and a lot of the extra stuff that have gone on with Star, and even like the newer movies as well. I guess the second of the new trilogy I do really like. I mean, obviously there's like Rogue One and stuff. There's quality. It's just, am I gonna rather rewatch Training Day or the Han Solo movie? I'm probably going to watch Denzel Washington. But I do, of course, as a Star Wars fan, I am more of a fan of the movies. So I think the Star Wars, I guess for movie fans, of course, the main storyline, the main thing that is captivating about the movie is the story of Anakin and his final stretch of his journey throughout this movie, evolving into Darth Vader and the build up to that last battle. And, I guess just the whole dynamic between him and Obi-Wan, the whole dynamic between him and the Emperor as well, too. But I guess with the Grievous part there in the middle, I guess because again, we got some Star Wars fans in our live chat. I think the real Star Wars fans do also love the Grievous stuff in this movie, which again is good action stuff. So you get just in terms of a movie, which is Edwards back? Oh, is Edwards back? I see the armband, chat. Edwards! I guess we can't call everybody Willis Reed, but what do you do, Chad? It's a credit to Willis Reed of how iconic that moment is. Of just that's what you think of whenever anytime somebody walks out of a tunnel, you just always think, hey, Willis Reed, Chad. Willis Reed. The logo for triumphant returns, I guess, to games. So returning to the game with the Wolves up 2. Randall, the pump fake. He's got Lou Dort flying. The Thunder are biting on the Randall threes, Chet. Randall, unfortunately, did he lose the ball out of bounds there? I got so distracted by the fact that the Thunder are just flying for Randall 3-point pump fakes. But again, he's 4 for 5 tonight. But I guess we were just starting to talk about Revenge of the Sith like it's a good movie. And I guess for us, it is, in our levels for what qualifies as a good movie. Of course, we can throw that term around loosely. There's good movies. It's like, I guess we start taking this to the award stage, and then there's just, again, the movie that you're going to throw on and watch more often than not. But I do think that this, and, can I say this is the best Star Wars movie, chat? Of course, that's going to be a bit of a stretch as well, too. But this is, of course, I think, for the newer for any of the Star Wars movies, I think, post the original 3, and this even includes, I think, some of the, off-branch movies. I guess, how many off-branch movies are there? Because you got, for sure, you've got Rogue One and Solo. And I guess I don't know if there's any other ones that I'm missing outside of that, or like Disney Plus exclusive movies, because then again, there's all the character shows as well too. But this does hit the checkpoint of the modern technology with the old school characters, but again, the old school characters where this version of Anakin, of course, is new school to the prequels, but the idea of Anakin, of course, has been around, I guess, for the entire time of Star Wars, and the idea of that pre-Darth Vader person. Of course, Obi-Wan, a figure in the first Star Wars as more of a mentor to Luke, but just diving in his backstory, you get Yoda, you get the Emperor. Again, you're getting all the classic Star Wars characters, but you're getting them in a little bit more of the modern setting, a little bit more of the modern technology. I mean, I haven't seen this movie in a minute, so one of the reasons that I was like, okay, we have to watch this tonight, because I need an excuse to rewatch this movie, Chad. Again, I'm throwing on a Star Wars movie. This one's definitely my go-to, but I mean, for so far, this initial opening space fight, like, the graphics are pretty good. Like, Marvel's, Phase 5. Wait, is Randall going to the bench? Randall going to the locker room? What just happened? Chad, we got to pause Revenge of the Sith. The Timberwolves. They're just taking turns going to the... What's going on in the locker room? Hey, yo, Chad. Hey, yo. So now it's first Edwards. Now Randall. Edwards, he's back, though, Chad. The spin on Case and Wallace. The step through. Wade. It's Wade, chat. So, I mean, shout out to Wade as much as as much as it's fun to compare Edwards to MJ. Because, again, it's like Willis Reed. MJ's just the iconic guy. When you think of great players, you think of MJ. But maybe we should, just for the respect of Dwayne Wade's career, start, like, saying, hey, maybe that's like the level of guy that Anthony Edwards needs to compete against before he gets to the Michael Jordan comps. And maybe there's even levels before he gets to the Dwayne Wade as well, too. Is it like, okay, is Anthony Edwards first Andrew Toney, and now he's Dwayne Wade, and now he's Michael Jordan? I don't know what the exact, lineage there is, chat. But Case and Wallace wide open for 3. 40-63, chat. The Thunder, they were down by 9 there a little bit, but a couple of shots get them right back in it. But, yeah, for Wade's sake, like, again, with what Wade did in that early finals, like, that's special stuff. And, again, the reason I think you get the MJ compare, because, I mean, we don't want to disrespect MJ. Like, of course, hey, yo, chat. But I guess we're young. We're sub 30, so, we can just take the side of, like, I guess we're LeBron people. Even though we go as undecided, chat. We don't have a registered LeBron or MJ vote. We're just undecided at this point. But, at least we can claim the youthful ignorance of it all. But with the MJ side of things, like, I guess just the idea of that scoring 2-guard again, and that's just the most basic way to break it down, is that scoring that scoring 2-guard guy who's going to lead your offense from a shot making standpoint. But again, the reason MJ is so great is because of, and I guess it could have really have been any type of player, but all of the great players. But it's the consistency to just time and time again in all of the playoffs to deliver in every single moment. And MJ, even if he was the forward, and one of the reasons that the conversation is great is because can LeBron do a little bit more on the basketball court than MJ? Is Magic with the playmaking stuff? Like, is he gonna, Magic and 4 guys versus MJ and 4 guys? Like, how does all this stuff add up? Oh yeah, there's Grievous, chat. So yeah, I guess we do get Grievous in this one, and he is a cool character. I'm not anti Grievous here. I'm a pro Grievous guy, but I guess we don't know like Grievous's politics and all that stuff. But again, he's sort of the B plot of the movie, so he's not the first thing I think of when it's like, oh, Revenge of the Sith. But definitely, again, as a solid, because I don't remember what the B plots of Phantom Menace and what is even the second, Attack of the Clones. I don't even remember what I don't even remember what the main stories are in those, to be honest. But again, it's like, okay, really every beat of this movie is pretty good, even for, it going a little bit long. A little bit of exposition, chat, at 2.5 hours. It's going to happen in a Star Wars film. But with the scoring two guard, of course, again, it's MJ just delivering in the playoffs time and time again. And I guess we probably could just look at it now as well too, chat. Because I was going to go look at was like, how many, I guess, quote unquote, like bad playoff games did MJ have? Again, not to even focus on those because those don't even matter. Like, he accomplished what he accomplished, and it's some of the greatest accomplishments ever for NBA players, maybe the greatest. But just in terms of that consistency, it's like, okay, what does that actually look like on paper when comparing it to? Because again, like LeBron, I guess, field goal percentage and all the way to stuff to break it down. But it's like, how many times throughout his career in a row has he had the double digits in every game? Steph Curry has had like 1 3-pointer in every playoff game for all this stuff. And I don't know if those are like active streaks or still at their absolute, most. But I was like, okay, like how many times did MJ just go like 1 for 15 or, 3 for 17 in a playoff game? Because again, he's delivered time and time again in all the clutch moments, anytime you'd want him to. But just like, what would be the math of that working out? And again, the efficiency numbers are going to be a little different as well too. I guess I'm looking at the 3-point column here. Let's go like field goal percentage. So for his career, so he is 48% from the field in his career for the playoffs. I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt for being in, those previous eras, chat. Maybe he's in like 45, 46-ish, which maybe gives him leeway for some of those lower performances. But 8 for 20, you start 40%, 41%. It's kind of like you need to see the game, of course, because again, efficiency is not the determining factor of like a great playoff game. You can have big shots and big moments that matter. But he played 179 career playoff games, and he shot 40% or more from the field in 151, chat. Is it time to do some math? We need our math people in the chat to step up and tell us what these percentages are. So 84% of his career playoff games, he got to over 40%. I guess we're just giving that number out as a lower one. I guess, do we just go LeBron in general, chat? I feel like not like LeBron's at risk, I think, of being at like 50%, but just to get a gauge, just to see, because again, 40% might not even be the right cutoff, but just to get us place to start. Like, I honestly think LeBron might be over 40%. Chat, now we're, again, being pro LeBron, but he might be over that number more than MJ. I feel like, I can't even picture him again having like a ton of the 30% games. So 292 career playoff games, 240, wait a second, 243, chat. Oh wait, did we do the math right on the last one? So we got to over 40% on 243 out of 290, how many? 292. 292. So 83%. So it's pretty close, chat. It's pretty close. The consistency is definitely there. What about here, chat? I guess we're not going to go through like every guy in NBA history, Well, let's go Kareem, and then because I want to look at Magic too. Are we gonna leave Magic out? Hakeem, Timmy, Steph. Again, we want to give Steph a little bit of a benefit because he's a little bit more perimeter focused as well. But he's always shooting 40% plus from the 3-point line, so it's not like he would necessarily be dragged down by that factor either. Kareem, for his career, too many playoff games, chat. 237 career playoff games, 40% in 208. So he's going to be right there as well too, chat. 237. Yeah, 87%, chat. 87. So again, we could even raise the bar as well too, go 45. Figure out what the appropriate random number is. Maybe the game score number. What year did game score officially start? I guess it's not going to tell us right now. Okay, 1:45 left in the finals. Oh, okay, so Count Dooku is in this one, chat. Oh, we're all over the place. MJ, Anthony Edwards, and Anakin Skywalker, Count Dooku. Hey, yo, are we going to see the Thunder put up a little Count Dooku in the second half, chat? Minnesota up by 7 right now. Oh, there goes off with his head, chat. Yikes. Is that the first dark moment for Skywalker? The first moment of him turning to the Sith side, I guess? Killing Count Dooku. See, I guess, is it more the motivation of why he did it, chat? I go, hey, yo, but do we need to go sound on for both? Because, again, you kill Count Dooku in the line of work, then it's just, you're doing the work of the Force. But once the Emperor says off with his head, then, now all of a sudden he's turned to the dark side. But again, it's, I guess, the motive. Because if you're killing him to protect versus, to make way for yourself as the Emperor, if you're taking his job, that's a little bit of a different thing. But, wait, Obi-Wan is down? I guess, again, I don't remember every beat of this movie. But what were we saying about this being a good movie? Yeah, you're hitting the characters, the technology, and again, speaking of the story, this is the better story for, and I get the last 3 movies that they did, the newest trilogy is a little controversial, probably with some of the Star Wars people, just in terms of the overall quality. But I mean, I think it's actually pretty rewatchable. And again, that second one that they did there, I actually really really like that one. I like that story. What's the timeline for that, Chad? Maybe we do a rewatch for that one just to see what was up again. Because I think that story as well, too, that one moves at like a nice pace. I think that would make sense. But maybe the Star Wars people are like, no, that one actually, the plot holes are all over the place. But again, like Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace. I think Phantom Menace is a little overrated. Again, maybe I can value the high points in a movie. And you start, especially nowadays, maybe movie background culture is at an all-time high. So the idea of a movie, of focusing on the good parts of a movie, maybe you're able to tune out those bad parts a little bit easier now because you're like, okay, well, I'm a lot of movies, maybe I'm tuning out the good parts anyways because it's just on in the background. But some of the high points in Phantom Menace, that last fight scene anyways, I think is pretty cool between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan. Darth Maul, just in general, as a villain, is a pretty cool villain. And, Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson throwing heat in that movie, so, I can't be mad at that necessarily. But Revenge of the Sith is on just a little bit of it's on a different level, chat. It's in a league of its own as a storyline. And in terms of the high points as well, too, just better high points from the trilogy. So better consistency and better all-time moments. It really does sound like a better all-time player. But I don't even know what the Rotten Tomato score, like the critics would say about this type of movie. Just to get, again, a rough estimate. Let's see if it pulls that up here, chat. Oh, okay, it is 79%. That's actually not too bad, chat. That's pretty fair, honestly. 7.6 on IMDb. Shout out to the Star Wars people. I'm not necessarily saying that this is mid. But, we're talking about the grand scope of cinema here. Revenge of the Sith, George Lucas brings his second Star Wars trilogy a suitable, thrilling, and often poignant and still a bit uneven conclusion. Oh, conclusion for the trilogy, chat. Audience score of 66. Oh, chat, I think the rare audience score below the critic score. That's kind of crazy. Is that maybe Star Wars fans just being upset about stuff? I don't know. Can we compare it here to what's the audience scores on the other ones? Yeah, The Last Jedi, the audience score was not great. Rogue One, 87. Solo, 63. Force Awakens, 84. Is that the one I'm thinking of? The Rise of Skywalker, 86. Oh, maybe I am thinking of The Last Jedi. I think I am thinking of The Last Jedi, chat. Hey, yo! That's how you know I'm not a, quote-unquote Star Wars fan. But maybe that holds up the quality of that last trilogy maybe as even better than some people think. It's like, hey, the Star Wars people like the 2, and then the movie people like the other one. But let's see here. Related. What is the Phantom Menace score, chat? Whoa, that's just going to give us related news. Attack of the Clones might be the one that's really at risk. Oh, wait a second. Of the, episode 2. How much does the sand in the down? 56% on the score meter, 61% on the tomato meter. Hey, yo, chat. Benefits from increased emphasis on thrilling action, although it's undercut by ponderous plot points. Actually, there may be a couple of cool flying around scenes. They may be right about that, chat. Now that that's mentioned. Okay, wait a second. Less than 2 seconds left in the first half here. 48-42. Minnesota has the lead. Anakin and Obi-Wan bearing down on General Grievous, chat. Yeah, the graphics do really hold up, honestly. This feels really good for 2005, 2025. I mean, I feel like this has still even got legs for the next couple of years, chat. AI? Maybe they're using AI to enhance it on Disney Plus. We just don't know it. It's honestly like 40 to 50% possible, if not like 89% possible at this point. Maybe it's equal to the tomato score on this movie. But the individual acting as well too. I mean, you're getting I think a good Ewan McGregor performance. And who plays the Emperor, chat? What are some of the cast names for this movie? Hey yo, chat. Hey, yo, only the Rem and Sam watch along. It's like, what's the name of the guy that plays Emperor Palpatine? But I don't know if he's had like a crazy... I mean, he's obviously had a crazy career, chat, as playing Emperor Palpatine. But I'm trying to think... Or maybe he's just, such a great actor that he's so disguised in all these other roles. I'm not noticing him. Or maybe it's just the type of movies I'm watching. Maybe he doesn't pick those films. Oh, he's Lost City of Z. Yeah, our guy Charlie Hunnam, shout out. We need to go back through the Charlie Hunnam filmography, chat. Give some of those a watch. So yeah, some of the Star Wars movies, The Last King, All the King's Men, Sleepy Hollow, Rasputin, 1996. He's in Rasputin. Dragon Slayer, 1981. So yeah, not necessarily, maybe some TV shows. Britannia, some Star Wars Rebels, Elizabeth I, Spooks, Touching Evil. Hey, yo, chat, what is that? Inspector Morris? Maybe we need to get Inspector Morris over here investigating this Touching Evil show, chat. That's crazy. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, he's throwing heat. So this honestly might be his best performance. We'd have to go back and see his individual performance in some of those early Star Wars movies, but I think because he does have the turn to Palpatine in this, so we get the fight with Yoda in this as well too. I mean, I'm moving it up. It's a fine wine. It's getting better with age. Check back with us in 2030. It'll be a 10 out of 10. It'll be perfect after the next Star Wars trilogy bombs even worse. But I mean, the bar, chat, they've set the bar too high with movies like The Empire Strikes Back and Revenge of the Sith. But I do, like I'm saying, because of the modern, and again, I can only speak for me, but I think having conversations with people, chat, I think that it could be a view held by more people that that this could be the most rewatchable Star Wars movie. Again, I think, do we check the runtime on some of these other ones? I think some of the other Star Wars do get a little bit into the 2-hour mark as well too, so it's not like, maybe like, I don't know, what's the names? Star Wars 1, 2, 3, and 4 are always the way to just remember them, chat. But, A New Hope, 77. So is that the first one? I think it is, chat. What is the years here for all the movies? Yeah. So we got A New Hope, Strikes Back, and The Return of the Jedi is the last one. Because then what was the other? The Last Jedi is the newest one. See, two Jedi names throwing us off in their chat. But, yeah, with those, so you got 201 for A New Hope. I guess, you know, these are iconic movies, chat. These are going to be great. But because of the newer enhancement, there is just a gravitation toward it. 204 and 211, chat, these movies are brisk. You know what? Hot take. I'm going to be back in on the old Star Wars movies after talking about this now. This movie's going to get me on a kick. I'm going to go back and rewatch all three of the original ones. They're going to be amazing. They're going to hold up. And I'm like, oh, this is why I love old movies, chat. Because Hollywood was just, you know, I don't know what, well, I was going to say, what were they on back then? But, you know, don't do a test because we'll find out. We'll find out. Or just don't even look in the writers' rooms because it might just be spread all over the place. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. But, yeah, this does feel like for people that didn't at least grow up with the ones in the 70s or still off the nostalgia. Because I guess, you know, they were re-releasing stuff back in the day as well, too, in theaters. So if there was like a 90s run for the Star Wars again, I don't know if it was able to continue to have legs with newer generations like that. But once we hit the 2000s again with this newer trilogy, this is the movie that really lives on in that way for Star Wars people. If you asked a lot of Star Wars people our age, like, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? You hooked them to the detector, chat. I mean, this is the movie that I would pass the lie detector test with for the Star Wars movies. It would have to be Revenge of the Sith. So, you know, again, it's the high Mace Windu. It really is the Avengers of the Star Wars movies, chat, for that last three. I mean, that's the point of the trilogies, I guess, is they all kind of culminate in these last moments. But like we're saying, just the way that the stories paced out in the first one, and the second one is just a really great middle story, a lot of action as well too, because I think is the battle on Hoth in the second Star Wars movie, and I think that is a pretty iconic, well, I know it is an iconic Star Wars moment, but I think that is also, again, you know, another really strong point of that movie. But the story and the freshness, you know, back in the day of that first one, you know, that of course is sort of, even though it's not the collection of all the Star Wars people, just as a story and as a movie, you know, that is of course, you know, all-time stuff as well too. But this has that, and of course, you know, Marvel can have that in the rewatchability stuff with the Avengers thing, where it's like the Avengers, and you know, the Avengers movies get a little bit extravagant, where it's like, you know, you're gonna commit to Endgame once a month. Like, it's just, you know, you got to really have a free weekend in there to sit down and watch that. Infinity War does have, and you know, Endgame and Infinity War do have pretty good cable runs still, so those will just be on TV as well. But you know, you're like, hey, maybe I'm throwing on Winter Soldier and Doctor Strange, or Ant-Man, or, you know, I guess Black Panther, or some, you know, just the solo movies that may be a little bit more condensed stories. They may move a little bit better. They may be a little bit, you know, just easier to go back and rewatch. But this is a great balance for that. Like, Infinity War is kind of like Endgame, you know, it really is just like a big extravagant movie. Like, this does have Infinity War vibes, where it's like, okay, like the stakes in this movie are about as high of stakes as you could get for a movie without it being too overly bearingly dramatic, but still enough to where it's like, okay, the rewatchability of this is quick and, yeah, you know, consumable anyways, and good to just have on. But I mean, and you know, again, even though we don't get Vader in this one, the villain energy that you get from Anakin is great as well too. And maybe we need to start giving Anakin his credit as a villain in these movies as well, because of course Darth Vader gets just credit as a villain in all of the, you know, just all of cinema, chat, in all of movie history. It's like Darth Vader's maybe the best villain ever. But again, it's a little bit, it's still the same type of thing, you know, it's still the same guy at the end of the day. I guess, you know, the Star Wars people, like, it's not the same guy, it's not Anakin. Is that why? I guess, why does Obi-Wan leave him alive at the end of the show? Because maybe it's Anakin in there? I don't know, chat. But again, you still have him in the mix of turning over. And, again, Hayden Christensen as well, too. Maybe it's just giving Hayden Christensen his credit because, he's not actually playing Darth Vader and playing the villainess of the full effect villain Darth Vader stuff in those, obviously in the early movies, but in any sort of version of Darth Vader. Like, it's just not his role. His role is Anakin Skywalker. And I guess, well, if it was his role Darth Vader, you got to give him credit for it as well, too. But you really have to actually, of course, act the villain as Anakin Skywalker throughout the course of this movie. And, I'm not saying that Hayden Christensen's walking around as like a terrifying slasher, but like, I don't know if he has the same presence as like a, Michael Myers or like a Glenn Close from Fatal Attraction chat, but he does really, of course, carry himself well in this movie. Pretty scary, pretty intense throughout, and really does, the turn is pretty intense, chat. And again, we'd have to go back and be like, how is he already starting? And I think, of course, you're starting with, in the beginning of the first three, or in this part of the trilogy, you're starting with the knowledge that it's, going to go south at some point for the Anakin storyline. But he does actually have to act that arc out through the course of the 3 films, or 2.5 or 2 or whatever Hayden Christensen is in. But I don't know exactly how much he's starting to, lean toward the Sith, chat, at the end of that second one. But he still is giving that good guy Jedi energy in the beginning of this third one a little bit. Like, he's still having those moments where he's at least playing the part a little bit, if he's not, at least still like, hey, I'm a good Jedi guy. But, by the end of it, it's really a turn as well, too. So that's kind of a, another fun, just action movie thing that, I guess I don't want to say it's rare, because you kind of just throw these claims out while you're watching movies, and then, you think of all the movies that back up your point. But but it does feel like, especially in the action movies, a lot of times the villain is sort of predetermined. And, going into the original Star Wars, Darth Vader, of course, is just set as a terrifying force. The Empire is set as a terrifying force. Again, in a lot of Marvel movies, even, the Avengers themselves, Thanos is already approaching. And even now, chat, like, still, like, Doctor Doom and all that stuff, like, we still kind of know the threats. There's still teams, and it's this is going to be the good guy team, and this is going to be the bad guy team. You don't necessarily get the downward spiral of your main character. And I guess that's why the Anakin story is just a special arc in general, because the guy that should be the good guy and the hero's journey and all that stuff, I guess, again, I'm not going to, like, can't really dig into the Star Wars mythology of all of it, but, a lot of times that guy does technically kind of win the movie and become the quote-unquote good guy, or redeemable qualities, however you want to phrase it. Like, there is some winning part of that main guy at the end of the movie. But for Anakin, he doesn't really get that. And again, Darth Vader, the coolness factor of Darth Vader, and I guess Darth Vader in the end does, of course, have some redeeming qualities by killing the Emperor as well, too. And just, you get to see his downward spiral as Anakin and feel for him in that way. So, you're relating to him the entire time. At least, again, for guys like us that grew up with the trilogy and just were watching these watching those Star Wars movies with that knowledge already. But again, just for the sort of broader action movie type stuff, like, Fast and Furious, chat. I'm trying to think that, I guess you get like you get Paul Walker, like, goes to the bad side in the first movie. Technically, he joins the robber crew, or like, that's like a Point Break type movie. So you get the same sort of like Keanu going to join Patrick, or, siding with Patrick Swayze's team at the end of the movie in that situation. But I guess just spoiler alert for classic movies, chat. We didn't say, but we all know you're on Tubi just crushing these 90s movies anyway, so I guess this one's 05. But that main character downward spiral is just not something you get a lot. So again, maybe the horror type thing, but we did just say Glenn Close, chat. Like, Glenn Close is still the villain in that movie. Like, she starts the movie as deceptive, where she's like, hey, like, I've got, like, I'm the type of person that you want to hang out with. Obviously, a captivating energy, and, seems like a good hang chap. But then you're like, oh, what have I gotten myself into? whereas this one is actually, the Emperor is there's a convincing, there's a philosophical change in the way that Anakin is seeing things. There is reasons to why he is, trying to justify at least some of the stuff that, and some of the moves that he's making throughout the course of this. So again, I'm trying to think, because I'm not necessarily as well versed in like some of the horror and some of the thriller stuff as well too, where maybe that is, but again, I guess that is the plot of this movie as well too. But I'm trying to think if there's a character like that where it's like the spiral downward, just like, maybe like a Black Mirror episode or something like that. And there is obviously, those type of characters as well. And again, it's like a horror type thing, like as a psychological horror, a person kind of going crazy, I think is a different type of thing than a person, again, sort of being turned and sort of like, oh, yes, this is a dark side. This is a presented as an evil. But, for Anakin, it's like, well, this is, he's having the conversation with Yoda right now about, hey, why are these things, why am I questioning the things in this way? But of course, all of the stuff about the Force is like evil, stay away. But it's like, hey, if I actually go into this side, then it may benefit me in that type of stuff. And again, it's just a unique story arc for all types of stuff in general. And Hayden Christensen actually has to act that story arc out as well too. So I know, and the problem as well, sometimes maybe the career that the guys could have, again, it kind of becomes a playoff thing as well, where maybe do you view it as like did Hayden Christensen get hot in this movie and have a great performance or whatever? But it doesn't matter, Chad. Like, if he got hot, he got hot. He was hitting shots, and you know what? Sometimes Mike Miller will win you a finals. As much as you hate to say it, it'll happen. Derek White and Jaylen Brown can get hot and win a finals MVP. And all of a sudden, the Celtics are back, But McGregor as well, too, sort of figuring out the Obi-Wan stuff to a maximum. I mean, Chad, I just kind of want to hear Obi-Wan give lines. I think, do I want to say the best written Star Wars movie? Because I don't remember some of the dialogue-y stuff in the first one. I mean, obviously, in the first three trilogy, there's great lines and great quotes and just iconic, ideas being floated out there throughout the movies. But in this one, again, because Anakin is sort of having these confrontations about his dynamics with the Force, there is just a lot of these pontificating scenes and a lot of these monologues. And you know what your boy likes in a movie sometimes, chat? A lot of monologuing. Just a lot of guys just, here's a scene and they're just going to spit some well-written dialogue for a second. They're just going to break down some topics. It's going to be great. Or just, any type of, I guess, any well-written stuff. But it's funny because we were just, we're always talking about Denzel movies at work, chat. But we were talking about Denzel movies at work again. And the person we were talking about with was like, oh, well, I was just rewatching it. We were like, oh, well, I just watched Out of Time. And they were like, well, I just watched Inside Man. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to go watch Inside Man. And one of the reasons that movie is obviously so great is just because this back and forth dynamic between Clive Owen and Denzel, where, again, a performance where it's like him in Training Day, like he's giving speeches, he's giving monologues, but it's just a different type of energy versus just, almost these, and I guess this movie's not necessarily like a charisma battle, whereas almost that movie was like, Clive Owen and Denzel, and they're really, but just the way Denzel is just a smoothness to Denzel, and some of those phone scenes and some of those, and the scene at the end with him and Jodie, the scene with him and the mayor and with Jodie Foster at the end, chat. But I guess, for this one, you get some of those, again, we're not saying this is Sorkin. I don't know if he had an editor's role in the Revenge of the Sith script, but there is a lot of those, we're going to be discussing some Star Wars philosophy in some scenes, and it's really great, chat. I think between, and again, the high points of this movie, I can't really start saying greatest of all time because I'm not disrespecting the original trilogy, but maybe favorite stuff of all time, like
probably the favorite lightsaber fight is got to be, the end fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan. And I guess the problem is now with some of the newer stuff, again, maybe we haven't watched the full shows, but we got to keep up on the lightsaber fights, Chad. It's not like, we're not letting those necessarily go unnoticed. So, of course, the Obi-Wan show, and I guess, if anything's going to have Darth Vader in it, it's like, we probably going to be watching that. But the lightsaber fight, of course, between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader at the end of that show, the lightsaber fight between Darth Vader and I forget what the actual like squad force that this, that the chick was on that he fought at the end of that show as well. But whatever that type of soldier is called, that battle between her and Darth Vader was really fantastic as well too. But again, just in terms of the movie, I guess the movie fights, the best movie lightsaber fight, I think, is still the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan. And I think maybe, at least for me, Chad, if I'm like, I just want to watch a scene of like two guys talking in a Star Wars movie, the scene with Anakin and the Emperor in the theater is just about as good of a acting performance as you're going to get with the Emperor there in about any of these Star Wars movies. So that's what I'm saying. There's just a lot of these high points throughout this movie where, and again, I guess I don't have to sell the movie as a great movie, but I think that's why this holds up as you could make the, just because of the way I think the first Star Wars movie kind of has to be the best Star Wars movie. I think a lot of people, maybe if we looked at the ratings, I know we had them up there for a second, chat, but Revenge of the Sith, I think, or not Revenge of the Sith, Empire Strikes Back, I think, gets a lot of love in the critic reviews and a lot of those rankings as well. But I think the iconic status and the originality, the stuff that it was bringing to the stage with the special effects and the sci-fi and all that stuff, I think the first Star Wars movie kind of has to be number one. So maybe then the Empire Strikes Back have to be number two. But I think, again, there's an argument to be made that this is a top 3 Star Wars movie, Chad. I don't think it's crazy to say. I don't think it's crazy to say at all. And for the trilogy as well, definitely the most pivotal for the storyline, I guess. Maybe, we can't speak to the importance of like the Phantom Menace. Real Star Wars fan had to break that down for us. But because of Anakin's turn to Darth Vader as well, like it's a real, Star Wars plot piece as well, like a real important like moment, if not the most important, however you want to rank those, Chad, moment in Star Wars history. Like, is that, again, for the Star Wars fans, like what are the most important moments? Is it Anakin turning to Darth Vader, or is it Luke discovering the Force and discovering himself as the chosen one, I guess, to be the guy? Or is Anakin technically the chosen one? Or no, they thought Anakin was the chosen one, but Luke is the chosen one. They thought Anakin's just Del Curry, chat, but Luke was actually Steph. They didn't realize that, oh yeah, he's Steph Curry's the next generation. I guess if Del Curry had gone to Darth Vader, if Del Curry had still been around and gotten traded to a team, and now Steph Curry has to take out Del Curry in a playoff game at some point, I guess. But Alexander cooking McDaniels to start the second half, chat. I guess we're a couple minutes into the quarter here. OKC, did they take a shot away? I don't know what just happened to the scoreboard. I thought it was 53. Well, I thought it was 53 before the shot, and then it went to 51, but now it's back to 53. Are they calling a foul? Who knows, chat? But McDaniels stumbling, chat. The Brian Russell push off. Got him leaning in the mid-range. A little Shea takeover here in the second half. What's he at for the point total? Give us the stats. He's at the free throw line. 11. He's 2 for 13, chat. He's been, again, 2 for 13. I guess you can't say he's been playing great. But his getting to the free throw line, almost makes me feel better about, again, his game that he's at 2 for 13, because I feel like his performance is better than that, because, again, his getting to the free throw line, I think, has controlled the pace. And I don't think Minnesota's not necessarily like a fast team in that type of way, but again, they are a streaky team, and I think that they can use some momentum in these 3-point shooting stretches in some of their offense. I think they would definitely, be on, again, a team that maybe it's like, oh, here's all of a sudden like a 20 to some run, and that's where they swung the game and then just kind of held throughout that, versus maybe like, just that constant pull away. Like, again, we've seen the Thunder win games by 50 points. Like, they're just going to lay they're just going to continue to win the game the entire time. And not to say like, oh, the Timberwolves competitiveness versus Thunder, but you get what I'm saying there, Chad. Where it's like the Timberwolves may more have like a moment in the game where they pull ahead and have the lead, but Shea can kind of check the momentum, of course, with all these free throws. And Edwards and the guys on Minnesota can do that, but that's Shea's game, obviously. Oh, is this it, chat? Are we in the theater? Chat, I might have to mute the game. We've got Wise, chat. Darth Plagueis, tell us about Darth Plagueis. Who's this guy just sitting there pretending like he's not hearing anything next to Palpatine? Or maybe he's like, I've heard this Darth Plagueis the Wise story so many times. He's got the season tickets next to Emperor Palpatine. He's like, oh, here he goes. Emperor Palpatine's giving us his Darth Plagueis material again. Oh, wait a second. He's give us a moment alone. Hey, yo, chat. Hey, yo. Is that how this works? What is this theater show? Is this the Sphere? He takes Anakin to the Sphere and then has a talk about Darth Plagueis the Wise. Okay, chat, I'm going to back it up to the start of the scene. Hey, whoa. What are we talking about? I'm going to rewind the movie to the start of the scene. Backing up is crazy, chat. But we're just going to rewind. IT, clean up what we said there. We gave you a couple takes on the rewind, so they can go back and just edit that in over what we said. Okay, here we go. We got it on the right TV. We're rewinding the game on accident. Here we go. I guess he kicked him out, so he was about to cook. Right there, chat. But volume on at last. I mean, to be honest, Anakin was already, of course, pretty close to the edge at this point. He was definitely very conflicted. But I think just after that speech, that's just, again, one of the more convincing speech a cult leader has ever given. Well, do we need to rank, like, cult leader speeches in movies? I don't know if I had that list just off top. But this is one of the best convert the guy to your side moments that I think a guy's ever had. I almost just want to go play by play, just read the dialogue, chat. I mean, not to say, again, it's Sorkin here, but the Emperor just is able to hold the moment in a way. I mean, again, I think it's the best scene in any best scene. It's the favorite scene of dialogue, I guess, of any Star Wars movie. And how good even is it, chat? To me, it's a 10 out of 10. I honestly can only see it as a 10 out of 10. That's how I know, again, for me, I just am being honest. I cannot in any other way see this is a great scene. It is what it is. This is like, okay, you want to see acting, you want to see cinema. What has, like, Hollywood and America, like, what are the Hall of Fame moments and things that we've done great? It's like, well, I guess the Star Wars franchise is one of them. What scene from the Star Wars franchise are we putting in there? We're putting in Emperor Palpatine talking about Darth Plagueis the Wise to Anakin Skywalker. But it could be it, chat. I mean, again, if we're talking sort of moments, maybe Luke, I am your father is just the final reveal in Star Wars. Which reveal are we talking about? But the final Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker reveal, of course, could be the moment that it's like, that's the ultimate Star Wars moment. But if we want to distract if it's like the aliens are like, show us your best movies from your best franchise, and we just want to distract them for a couple minutes, get them locked in on a scene while we cook up a plan, like, we can just throw this scene on a loop. Maybe put it at 0.5 speed to buy us a little time as well. But maybe it'll be even more captivating. Then Palpatine, slow down. Darth Plagueis the Wise. I guess Emperor, maybe the lightning zap, he just goes to half speed in general anyways. Just absolutely roasting the Jedi, chat. The Jedi are full of it. The Jedi! Just a bunch of lying, also kind of cult people themselves. Just two cults battling it out in the universe, chat. In some galaxy far, far away, there's two crazy cult leaders that are Yoda versus Palpatine, and these guys just that's the real plot of Star Wars, chat. In a galaxy far, far away, two old guys just got a bunch of people riled up and started fighting each other, and it just spread from planet to planet and got out of control. And one side had magic. Unfortunately for the peasants involved, I guess care, but what is like the civilian casualty count in Star Wars? Because again, there's some planet destructions that are like, that's gonna really boost the stats. It's like, Babe Ruth, they're going home run or strikeout sort of every time. But there is a lot of, again, space fighting, a lot of the ships. I guess what, Tatooine? See, the Ewoks, or no, the Ewoks aren't Tatooine. What's the Ewok planet, chat? I know what it is. Give me a second. I know what it is. The jungle planet, the forest. Not Tatooine. Maybe Tatooine's the only planet we know. Is Hoth a planet, or is Hoth just a country on a planet, or a city? What is Hoth? Maybe Hoth is both. Maybe Hoth is like a planet, country, and city. Maybe there's a location that's like 222 Hoth Drive, Hoth. It's like, wait, where is this place located? But yeah, I guess I don't know the actual name of the jungle planet. And wait, I might have to actually go back again, chat. What actually did Darth Plagueis the Wise do? He just got like uncontrollable power? Not from a Jedi. I think that is the best line delivery in all of Star Wars. Not from a Jedi. Oh, chat, we're rewinding the game again. 60 to 58. Okay, wait, film room study. We're trying to do film on Star Wars. Wait a second. Sorry, Shay. Again, it's at least 4-game series, so, There's only one 20th anniversary for Revenge of the Sith, chat. And then this is it. Okay, wait, rewind. I got to get the Darth Plagueis the Wise backstory again, just in case, just to remember, chat, just to remember, and then I'll skip ahead. I won't have to rewatch the whole scene. I guess I could just like fandom wiki how the Darth Plagueis story. That might even give us a couple extra details. Maybe we need a Darth Plagueis Disney Plus channel. Okay, so the Jedi are selfless. So initially, that's what Anakin thinks, of course. Big moment in the show. So again, you see sort of the bubbles on top. So I don't know, is this sort of a holographic show? Or were those graphics, is this just U2? If any band was doing a tour, there's like some movement going on in the bubbles. So maybe there's some life form in there. Yeah, the Jedi are suppressing the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise, chat. The Jedi, you think there's freedom of speech people, but they burned the books. Darth Plagueis the Wise books, they got rid of them all. It's not fair. You gotta let the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise, you have to let it be out there. He could use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life. Oh, chat, a little too powerful, I see. He had such knowledge, the dark side. He could even keep the... Oh, chat. So yeah, that's why Anakin was... And I knew there was... The reason he is, again, of course, pursuing the dark side is to try to help out Padme and to try to save his kids. I think, if I'm getting that just generally correct. But that would, of course, make it's like, yeah, he's literally telling him that Darth Plagueis the Wise knew how to use the Force to, create life and to, I guess, sustain life as well, too. Maybe there was some immortality stuff. I guess outside of the fact that... maybe Palpatine eventually, of course. Did we get a good whistle there, Jen? That's just sort of the censored way to say he, in his sleep, I guess if you're watching the video, you'll see the little, whacked him. Hey, yo, chat, what are we talking about in his sleep? I guess if we're, in Goodfellas terms, I guess maybe in Goodfellas, though, we don't know exactly all the terms. But Thunder Tide, Minnesota. So this is going to be we got 2 classics at once, chat. 2 classics at the same time. I think we're going to have to really try to remember to lock in the 4th quarter here. But again, the fact we got the Darth Plagueis the Wise scene out of the way in the 3rd quarter. So that's good. I honestly, so we got Grievous, Darth Plagueis, and now it's just an hour wait till the final lightsaber fight. What happens next, chat? Maybe that's why this movie doesn't have the legs. It's like, oh, wait a second. Once you get out. See, that's the problem with a lot of movies. I feel like the movie rankings, if it's like, what's the first 45 minutes? Like, what are we at right now, chat? 48 minutes? I guess, again, for me, we're still cooking here. We got Yoda in the chairman sheet. Anytime Yoda pops up, anytime Samuel L. is on screen, I'm locked in. So and Mace Windu does stay alive, of course, for a good portion of the movie. I think he does. The turn is, I guess, just how much of him is Obi-Wan pursuing him, because it's not like he has a crazy long run of being evil Anakin Skywalker, just in terms of screen time. And in terms of real time as well, too, like, in terms of taking out the younglings and all the stuff, chat, like, is that all one day? Does he really only get, like, 1 week as Anakin Skywalker apprentice to Palpatine? Or is it, like, 24 hours, 36 hours? And for Palpatine, anyways, I think he kind of... I mean, he definitely had the Darth Vader suit. I don't know if he had it cooked up, ready to go. I guess we don't know the timeline, again, from the end of him scooping him up to them putting him in the suit. Because they can go, okay, we can put him on life support and then maybe go into the chat GPT and see what some suit designs are. But he did maybe have a bigger vision in place for Anakin, not just, again, in terms of his role, but maybe in terms of... And I guess, again, the Darth Vader suit is just a life support suit. So it's not like he gets... Chat, does he... This feels like a real Star Wars 101 suit. A search? But, does he get other powers from his suit? Does Darth Vader get powers from his suit, chat? Let's see here. Because outside of just keeping him alive, I mean, outside of the power of life, cyberkinetic suit gives him powers beyond physical strength and toughness. The suit constantly feeds him data on nearby environmental hazards and Oh, chat, so he's got like a Predator mask on. Hey, yo! He's got like a heat vision, can sense a life form type of ordeal. 15 gross facts about Darth Vader's suit. Oh, I don't know about that. But what are the advantages and disadvantages of Darth Vader's suit? Wait, what source is this? Where are we getting this from? Secrets of Darth Vader's armor. Here we go, chat. What's the blueprint that we didn't know about? I guess, again, I've never actually known what the suit does outside of the life support abilities of it. Outside of the fact of it just being the coolest breathing mask of all time. But, yeah, he's, clinging on to life there, chat. Brought it back. With the loss of his speed, Vader gained technical advantage. I mean, it would make sense if you're going to give him... And armor abilities as well, too, of course. Yeah, for sure. But while Vader needs heavily armor to live and move normally, the cutting-edge technology in his armor also allows for powerful techniques that even a classically trained Jedi would have trouble matching. Vader's boots have gravitational pull due to the ferromagnetic core in the heel, allowing him to stick to spaceship holes even in the vacuum of space. Oh, okay, as seen in the comic series, Darth Vader and the Ninth Assassin. Even more impressively, the suit itself is completely airtight, giving Vader a nigh unmatched ability to attack from any direction. Slow, unstoppable, and more machine than man. It's hard not to see Vader as an influence on Unstoppable Cyborg. Oh, Terminator! So Vader influenced Terminator. Okay. So yeah, there was some Arnold character that Vader was going to be influenced by. There was going to be some sort of overlap in the technology between an Arnold character and Darth Vader. Vader is more similar to Batman than you might think. Definitely getting those vibes. Even beyond the similar aesthetics as naturally result of both characters being somewhat inspired by Dracula. Okay, Dracula also in the mix. A lot of rich guys, so they have the money to spend on the tech chat. That's for sure. I mean, Darth Vader as the second command guy in the galaxy definitely has a lot of money. Oh, chat from the movie, looking rough from the third movie, Return of the Jedi, at the end. Yikes, our poor guy Vader, down bad in that moment. But I mean, he knew what he was doing there. Unfortunately, is this? I mean. Maybe that's just the burns, because he did... I don't know exactly where he gets cut up with the lightsaber. But... Oh, chat! Yikes. Hayden Christensen really committing to the role there. That's unfortunate. But, oh, wait, we're not reading about the suit either. Inside the armor, his skin remains horrifically mutilated. Unfortunately, doesn't fix that for him. In short, the suit serves as a constant barrier against his inevitable death, a death which would come quickly the moment the suit would be disabled in any sizable way. His reliance on the suit's power to keep him alive is why his death in Return of the Jedi happened so quickly after his armor was disabled. Makes sense, of course. I mean, the picture shows. So yeah, of course, it would make sense. His armor does have some extra power-up abilities in there. And speaking of Batman, chat, General Grievous hiding out in a very, Bane-like pit, I guess. Of course, the pit itself that the Bane prison, whatever, is in, is that the League of Shadows prison? I don't know exactly what that is, but that pit's obviously a little bit, that's more of a prison. It's not a whole civilization in like the side of a cutout area in the mountain. But the jacket here, underrated jacket on whatever this species of creature is, but I like the collar, chat. If I ever go Met Gala, I'm going with this. If they ever have a Star Wars Met Gala, it would be crazy. But maybe they've done that in the past. Who knows? Maybe it would be more of like a intergalactic theme. Maybe they can't get the Star Wars branding rights either. Met Gala. Who knows what the Met Gala budget is? They're like, okay, well, we don't want to spend budget on just the theme. We still got decorations. They're like, well, where are all the decorations? Well, we just had to buy licensing rights just to call it Star Wars Met Gala. Okay, so we got the licensing rights, and they said we could watch Revenge of the Sith at the Met Gala. So, maybe that'd actually be one we'd go to, chat. Who would know? Who knows? Is that R2-D2? A bronze R2-D2? What do we got going on there, chat? And I know there's multiple droids as well. Yeah, we could really, and this is why the Star Wars, they build out the whole universe. But I don't necessarily want to like a whole show throughout this civilization. Maybe in like the Clone Wars, they go into this area a little bit more. And I guess throughout the movie, they explore this too, throughout the fight and stuff. But I at least need like a architectural digest, like open door, like through some of these houses. Because mountainside civilizations, underrated, chat. Any civilization that's just like, this is built on the side of a mountain, or this is built in caves and stuff, I need to see pictures. I need a house tour. I want to see what's going on. Because that would be a sneaky, like, I don't know if it would be the #1 sort of dream home scenario, but it would be way up on the list. It's just some kind of like cave cut out in the side of a mountain. There was one house that I saved a post on Instagram, and I don't even remember if it was AI or if it was real, but it was like in the side of a mountain, just big glass window. Maybe you have to access it by a drone. Didn't see a driveway. But it's like, oh, this would be great, chat. I'm not saying like I need, put me in a house with 100 acres away from everybody. It's just, that would be cool, living on the side of a mountain. Again, mountain civilization, even better. If I could live on the side of a mountain, but also fly on a drone to the other side of a mountain, there's a mountainside target on the other side of the mountain. Now we're cooking, chat. That's great. I guess any sort of store, it doesn't have to be, shout out, it could be a Target. Hey, yo, if Target wants to endorse the Mountainside Village, by all means, we'll take a couple of Targets stationed out there. But yeah, just that type of design is cool. So the Grievous civilization is, and again, this is why the Star Wars fans are a fan, chat. So the poor droids, just a quick just the air conditioner vent right on top of them. Not necessarily fair, but so it goes. I guess, do we feel bad for the droids? Because, well, each droid kind of has its own personality. I don't know, chat. What are the personality of the droids? Because they just get recreated. They just get, cloned and spit out there like they mean nothing. But perhaps they actually, they're kind of cool. I don't know. I feel a little bad when they just get taken down without a fight. I mean, not to say that if you have more power than, you know, if your physical advantages, you shouldn't use them, obviously. But, you know, at least give him a chance. At least let him fire a couple of shots with the little AO pause, with the blasters, chat. Grievous with the spinning sabers. I mean, maybe, and again, you know, Obi-Wan, one of the great lightsaber fighters of all time. So that maybe is the thing that we're not, because I was gonna say, I feel like Grievous might cook Obi-Wan in real life, actually. 4 lightsabers on one is kind of crazy. There's just no way. And, you know, you have the Force as well, too, to kind of help. Just, you know, maybe Obi-Wan's not even actually fighting at this point. The Force is just like, pew, 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 pew. Just blocking all these lightsaber shots. But, pause that. But, for Obi-Wan, maybe it is just the overall experience as well, too. Because Grievous does have the lightsabers. But the thing is, he killed a Jedi. So I guess you would have to assume that that would mean he's also capable as a lightsaber. I mean, he's capable as a fighter. So he definitely could have gotten the lightsabers in other capacity than just a lightsaber fight. But if he has the ability to take down 4, not 4 at once, but if he's taken down 4 Jedi and now he has all 4 of their lightsabers, I feel like that's a really tough matchup for Obi-Wan. That's a little, it's not full LeBron 2018 versus the Warriors. Because, again, it's still 1v1, but kind of 2.5v1. So he gets a good advantage by dismounting them. So maybe those extensions are a little less useful than we thought as well. Like, maybe they don't, you know, pause again, but maybe they don't work as, like, full arms. Maybe they're, like, hey, yo, but like 70%, you know, capabilities. And the Thunder here with a little bit of push, chat. 71-62. We might have to go sound back to the game. Sorry for the Grievous fight, I guess. We'll be back. If there's another mention of Darth Plagueis the Wise, or if we see Anakin fire up the lightsaber, then maybe we go sound back on. But we're going to have to catch back up on the game. Kendrick Williams, chat. I guess his three-point shooting is going to have to bring him back in there. We're just showing a highlight there. Shea, the mini, there he goes. Bring him back in, chat. 11-point game. 17-2 run. Oh, man, so they're cooking them, chat. Obi-Wan's cooking. Shea's cooking. Edwards for 3. Edwards, settle down. Get to the free throw line. Get to the basket. Where's the shot blockers? I guess they got Chet on the court, so there is somebody. Offensive foul on Kendrick Williams. It's rigged. The refs, chat. The first pro-Minnesota call. Mace Windu just straight up, I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi. So it must be really obvious at this point, chat, because make left for Mace Windu to fix some stuff. But if the ability for a plot for the Jedi to be sensed by the Force is there, you know, either that says something about Mace Windu's Force's abilities, or again, just the Force thing was, or maybe just the plot was so strong that it's like now just the, you know, just a whiff of it is out there and Mace Windu picks it up right away. But either way, Chad, unfortunately he wasn't, you know, doing Force surveillance on plot against the Jedi sooner. Because if he uncovers this in the second movie, maybe if he senses this potential in Anakin a little bit sooner. You know, Mace Windu, not a great scout, unfortunately. Not able to pick up odds at the best time. And I guess even at this point, does he even know it's Anakin? I don't know if he maybe suspects Anakin. He's like, hey, that little guy, like, he might be the one to turn us all around. I knew that guy was going to be the one to bring us all down, chat. But if he had known the scouting potential a little bit later, and it's like, okay, well, now the odds have risen, you know, we can't get our guy, then maybe if he scouts this out in the second or first movie, they're able to stop it. And I guess, you know, I guess it is controversial as well, too, them bringing him in, right? Just the idea of them starting to Force train him, you know, at the age of whatever in general. Was he like 7 or something? You know, I don't know. Apparently the Force training is a little sketchy. You got to really start early. But, yeah, apparently, and of course maybe that's just the Emperor working on his greater plot as well, too, and just able to start a crack in the foundation by bringing an older youngling into the mix. But if Mace Windu maybe had unfortunately been able to sense the plot to destroy the Jedi anyways. And maybe it's not Mace Windu's fault. I guess if if the ability to sense it with the Force is there, Yoda has to do something as well too. Yoda has to have some levers in place, chat. He's got to have a couple of safeties in place just in case. I mean, if Valentina Delegra Defonte can have kill switches on her superheroes that she's trying to create, like Yoda's got to have some fail safes just in case this this potentially vulnerable youngling in the mix is going to be going a little bit sideways a little bit later. So Anakin was, still when the Emperor first proposes it, trying to be like, hey, what's the Sith? That's not something we do around here. Pause. It's, a little sketchy. I'll get the lightsaber out. Be ready just in case. But, again, the Emperor he knows the buttons. He knows that Anakin's enticed by the power and all the stuff, chat. So a little bit of a Joker face-off at this point. And I guess drawing that anger out of him in general is kind of the idea, right? So I don't know. Again, what's the difference in the Jedi has to just nobly take these guys down? Like, is Obi-Wan essentially just doing a hit on General Grievous at this point? Like, just bounty hunter assassin mode on General Grievous? And that's a pure move in the Force. But if Anakin strikes down the Sith Lord, then Anakin's like the most powerful Sith guy of them all. So again, really, maybe it does speak to the downside of the Force, chat, because they got to be able to pick up some of this stuff a little bit sooner. Yoda's got to have a plan. He's got to have a, hey, if we see Anakin go sideways, like we put the tripwire through the door here and you draw him in and, I'll shut it behind him. We rig the room with explosives. Like, don't get dramatic, chat, but there's got to be something. They consult Arnold from Predator and is like, what's the plan to try to take down Anakin Skywalker? I don't know. Maybe they have to go same, because again, they kind of proved that the mud wouldn't work from the first movie. So maybe they have to go fire from the 2010 version and just say, hey, how do we take down Anakin Skywalker? But yeah, chat, Yoda's got to do something. We're putting Yoda on watch. Yoda's honestly to blame for this one. Not to say that the whole galaxy is to blame. Darth Vader wasn't. Again, there's 3 movies of Darth Vader before this, so he kind of has to become Darth Vader by the end. But I mean, this story, I guess, existed before those 3 movies in general. So it's just now, they finally released the footage of Anakin Skywalker turning to Darth Vader in 2005, and not in 1970. But Grievous has a heart, chat. Grievous has organs. I guess I don't know the full Grievous story. Is Grievous a little Anakin Skywalker-y where he's kind of a life support, or is he just a more evolved droid? But that's kind of disturbing as well. Grievous with a heart. I don't know. Does that make me like him more, chat? Grievous is one of us a little bit. What's going on? Blaster? Right to the gut, chat. So, no headshot either, chat. He just say, hey, bam, bam, bam. Right to the organs. Oh, there it is. Catching on fire. Internal combustion. Yikes. You hate to see it. General Grievous, R.I.P. One of the great villain runs, I guess, for the Star Wars universe. And maybe, again, a guy flushed out more, I think, in some more TV shows. Star Wars fans, back me up here. You know what we're talking about. The Grievous storylines. You can tell us. Top 5 Grievous moments, You guys got them. But you got to give him credit, Chet. He put up his stats. Again, got a couple of Jedis, 4 lightsabers. Even Palpatine. How many Jedis did Palpatine actually take down himself? He had to take down Darth Plagueis the Wise in his sleep. Like, Grievous is out here doing work in the daylight, chat. He's fighting these guys 1v1. Dual style with honorability, I guess. And what is the Grievous relationship between Emperor Palpatine and him, too? Did Grievous work for Palpatine? Or was Grievous just like another, quote-unquote bad guy, mercenary, whatever? And Palpatine's just like, oh, well, we're fans of what Grievous is doing over there, so we'll just kind of let him cook. But were they actually teamed up and working? Was Grievous carrying out plans in order for... I guess he's General Grievous, so is he the general? And Count Dooku was the apprentice? Okay, now we're catching up, chat. Now we're catching up. I mean, literally, Mace Windu said he sensed a plot to destroy the Force. He's standing here talking next to Anakin Skywalker. So, I mean, so I guess the plot to destroy the Force would be the Emperor. But at this point, the Emperor has kind of, like, you know, we're seeing the dark side of Anakin. He's got the robes. He's got the head down, chat. I guess he's not Hoodie Anakin at this point. Who puts up better stats, chat? Hoodie Anakin or Hoodie Mello? Iconic summer runs for our guy Carmelo Anthony, of course. Shout out to, you know, his Knicks teams. They had some playoff moments, chat. You know, maybe not quite conference finals, but they got there. They got in the playoffs. They got to the second round. They lost to some good teams, so there's no shame in that. But maybe this is a little what if from Hayden Christensen as well, too. It's like, what happened with his career, chat? You know, what movies did he do? What's the problem? You know, the Hayden Christensen Oscar still off the table? 44. I mean, he still honestly has the resurgence in the career, chat, and he's got the early career here. You know, the iconic character still being in our lives, even if, you know, the movies themselves haven't. It's not like there's the newer Hayden Christensen performances. Yeah, I guess he's Anakin. Vocal cameo in this. The Last Man in 2019 is his most recent movie, an Argentinian Canadian science fiction film co-written and directed by Rodrigo H. Vila. Shout out, chat. I mean, you know, got to be top of the line for the Argentinian Canadian film scene. But Hayden Christensen and Harvey Keitel. So I don't, you know, did Hayden Christensen get canceled? What happened here, chat? Why is he doing Argentinian Canadian movies? Little Italy? 2018 romantic comedy. Is this a remake of something? Emma Roberts and Hayden Christensen? So the rom-com stuff as well too, chat. Did he get into that virgin territory? Hey, yo. Factory Girl? Shattered Glass? Not really. Maybe he tried to do the actor stuff. See, that's probably what happened, chat, is he got cast as, of course, the sci-fi villain and the sci-fi hero and it's not a real actor role, so now you got to go do like 7 or 8 actor movies in a row, try to be get taken seriously. I guess is Taker's a serious movie, American heist action thriller? Okay, maybe not, chat. Is this Timothy Chalamet? Who is this over here? We get Idris Elba in this movie. T.I.'s in this movie? In a heist movie? Oh, chat, I'm in. Chris Brown? Michael Ealy, and T.I.? Is that Paul Walker on the poster, chat? 2010? What's going in the watch list right now? What's the IMDb score on Takers? Is this on... There's no way this is not on Tubi or Pluto. Tubi, chat, lock it in! Tubi, time and time again, MVP. Okay, we're missing, chat. Palpatine versus Windu. I mean, Windu's cooking him, chat. And that's why, I mean, you know, Anakin, of course, Darth Vader, his power as a Jedi. You know, Windu, I don't know if he can put up a little bit more of a fight against Anakin here. But, I mean, he's going to get Palpatine, of course. He's going to get him. But it's a 6 point... Takers is a 6.2 on IMDb, a 45% meta score. Renee Rodriguez from the Miami Herald really loved it. So did Stephen Farber from the Hollywood Reporter. But apparently, Steve Ramos from Box Office Magazine, Nathan Rabin from AV Club, not a fan. But is T.I. like a producer in this? And then put himself in the movie? This is crazy, chat. John Lucenhop, the director? Who's this guy? Texas Chainsaw? 2013, Leatherface 2017. Chat, he's only done 4 movies. Lockdown in 2000 with, who's in this? Richard T. Jones? DeAndre Bonds? Master P? Okay. Bill Nunn? Clifton Powell. Not necessarily the most familiar cast anyways. Most A-list cast. And not a movie that's streaming anywhere either, but 2000s he did Lockdown. In 2010, he did Takers, and in 2013, he did Texas Chainsaw. So he's got one movie upcoming, Midnight Door. Not much known about it at all. So this guy picks his spots, chat. He took 10 years to make Takers. Hopefully it was worth it. So we might be watching this tonight. T.I., Paul Walker, Matt Dillon, Idris Elba, and Hayden Christensen, and Zoe Saldana and Michael Ealy. I mean, it's like 18 reasons to watch the movie right there. But I guess outside, so maybe Hayden Christensen might have a sleeper filmography here, honestly. Jumper, American science fiction film based loosely on Stephen Gould's novel. Okay, so what's this? A young man capable of teleporting as he is pursued by a secret society intent on killing him. Maybe that's where his career is going. Because, again, oh, chat, we missed it. He got fried. Palpatine his forehead got turned into a butt. He got fried. Anakin's trying to talk Windu into sparing him, but honestly, chat, I get it. You gotta get him out of here. Oh, Windu, the arm, chat. Anakin, what are you doing? I mean, Palpatine, again, he played it cool. He knew what he was doing. He could have laser blasted Windu this whole time. But does Palpatine have, like, time travel capabilities? Can he see into the future? Like, did he know he was going to get cosmetic surgery to be Emperor Palpatine? Is that part of the sacrifice? In order to go to the dark side, you must get lots of wrinkles on your skin. Your forehead, you've got to get the... Chat, who's got the biggest chin dimple of all time? Whoever's got the biggest chin dimple. Just Palpatine's just got the biggest forehead dimple of all time. A little, see, because Manning doesn't have the crease in the forehead. Of course, he's got the real estate, but he doesn't. Josh Dobbs, for just ranking foreheads, Peyton Manning, Josh Dobbs, Emperor Palpatine, maybe. I don't know. DM us at Rem and Sam. Let us know your forehead power rankings, I guess. But, yeah, is this just part of the play? Is this part of the sacrifice? At all costs, the Sith must win, I guess. So Anakin, yeah, fully dark at this point. Hey, yo, whoa. Take two, chat. Fully evil at this point. Fully on the dark side, I guess. And Hayden Christensen, this Jumpers movie. Should we check this? The film grossed $225? Oh, this was a hit. On 85 mil. Who else is in this? Jamie Bell. Michael Rooker? Okay. Rachel Bilson? Yeah, Rachel Bilson as well, too, for sure. Samuel L. Of course Samuel L's in this. Of course he is. So let's just go to the Hayden Christensen. I guess here, we can be fair, chat. I want to have it on my phone so I can just add him into the watch list, but we can go to the Hayden Christensen page here. OKC has now pushed the lead to 11, chat, so they may be at a comfortable distance here at this point in the second half. DiVincenzo for 3. And to be honest, again, as much as this was the Shea Edwards series, Edwards ascending and his chance to, and his big games are going to be the ones that probably power this team to the win when they happen. I say win the games when they happen, not necessarily win the series when it happens, but again, when they win the series, or if they win the series, I guess, would be reliant on, you would assume, big performances from Edwards as well. But it does seem like there's a little bit of play through Randall as well that has continued that. And again, he's been good tonight, so you got to let those opportunities continue to be there if he's playing well. But there is a little bit of like, okay, we need something, we're going to Randall. And is that Randall? Like, we need something, I'm taking the opportunity myself. But regardless, again, Shea, not to say that I wasn't out on Shea, chat, but there is a weird, and I can tell I'm headed for this path with Cade Cunningham as well, too, because Shea was the guy that we wanted to have, we're watching him on OKC. OKC's like kind of a struggling team. Obviously, there's a bright future, but it's like if there was ever a chance for Shea to ask out in just like the random future down the road, obviously, or, you know, even for the Spurs to like throw a Godfather offer at somebody and trade for a player. Like Shea at one point was probably the number one guy on our wish list for the Spurs to go trade for. And again, you know, he's still on the wish list, but he's off the wish list because he's just untradeable. The Thunder aren't going to trade up Shea. He's their franchise player. He's on the verge of, you know, Western Conference Finals right now, and potentially could take him to the finals, potentially could win the finals for him as their best player this year. So, you know, they weren't going to trade him before, and they're definitely not going to trade him now. But because of that, it's like, I don't know if we're trying to justify it back the other way, where it's like, you know, now we have to start arguing these other guys over. We have to get Shea back down the player ranking so we can trade for him again. But, or we just have to, you know, look at the opportunities where they are. It's like, okay, now Cade Cunningham's in that spot. The Pistons, they're working their pieces. They're trying to build their team in full, and Cade Cunningham's developing as a star. Can they put the team together in time before all of a sudden it's like Cade Cunningham gets antsy, and now the Spurs can swoop in with the trade and trade for Cade Cunningham? But, yeah, so again, it's like Shea, you know, we hate to see him successful because, again, not to say the Spurs ever would have gotten him. It's just delusional to be like, hey, there was an opportunity for the Spurs to get him. But it's like, oh, the Thunder actually built the team around him. Yep, they did it. They're making the finals, all this stuff. It's happening. We can't get him. Because I guess even a guy like Edwards, you know, Minnesota obviously would never trade Edwards. I don't know if Dallas is telling the truth about whether or not they shopped Luka, but they did say they shopped Luka to the Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves obviously turned him down. You know, they're not trading Edwards. But it's not 100% necessarily off the table that, it's like it's not 100% off the table for anybody, but it wouldn't be totally surprising if in like a year and a half, 2 years, Anthony Edwards was like, okay, well, now I went out. I want to go somewhere. Because, again, Minnesota hasn't, and I guess maybe we need to start giving him more credit. The Randall piece of it as well, too, working out the way it has, is definitely a reason to give him credit. But they don't have that same foundation of there's no reason for Anthony Edwards to leave. Whereas, you know, Shea just wouldn't request a trade. This team is set up great in the future. There's so much talent around him, and there's so much ability to make moves as well, too, because of the picks and the cap space and all this stuff, that there's just few teams that are better set up in the league than this spot. So again, him requesting a trade is off the table. So why would they trade Shea? His tradability, just long term, at least for the next couple of years, of course, doesn't seem to be there. You know, they lose the Western Conference Finals and they win 48 games next year, and who knows? But again, Edwards, it's like, okay, the roadmap for them being like Randall leaves because of how well he played in the playoffs, and somebody pays him, and the Gobert contract continues, and Conley leaves, and you know, just all this stuff. The roadmap for him wanting out in like 2 years is still very much there. But Cade as well, like the future of Detroit, and I don't think again, Minnesota's future still looks really great. Even if, you know, it's the Randall determination is, the future looks great is, you know, a tough statement. But the future does not look bad, obviously, in Minnesota. But there's just definite pieces for those teams. So it's a little painful, chat, to be like, yeah, I guess there was. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, the one that got away from San Antonio, is really what it is. There was never a chance. Devin Booker. See, Devin Booker, I have no hard feelings for Devin. Hey, yo, pause. But I have no, you know, feelings of anyway toward a Devin Booker. Hey, what are we saying, chat? But because again, the Phoenix Suns fell apart this year. They made the finals with Devin Booker that time, and it was like, yeah, now his value is really starting to ascend. The Spurs probably couldn't trade for Devin Booker, but now it's like kind of fully back. Like Devin Booker fully back on the watch list. The Suns, they might not want to trade him. And Devin Booker, you know, Phoenix is another weird spot. Close to LA. He's been connected with the franchise. Maybe he doesn't want to leave. But it's not totally surprising to be like, yeah, you know, a half a season, a year from now in February, or, you know, the two separate statements, a year from now or in February, we could see Devin Booker asking for a trade. Would not be surprising at all. So, you know, we're kind of back in on like, hey, yeah, Devin Booker, he can play well, because that confirms the fact that if the Spurs were able to trade for him, it would be a good trade. So, again, it's like, if Edwards is playing well, is there like a 2%, a half a percent, a 0.25% chance that someday maybe the Spurs could still get him? But yeah, for right now, for Shea, it's like win probabilities. Shea goes to the Spurs is -3%. It's not happening. Yeah, the Thunder aren't letting that guy go. Oh, Yoda, the backflip, double decapitation, I guess, for the droids, chat. Is he also on? Is he on the same planet as Grievous right now? Same sort of, you know, a lot of rocks, a lot of mossy environments. But who's to say it's the same planet? I got nothing, chat. I got nothing. Oh, not the younglings. They were trying. They were hiding. I don't know if Anakin would have been like, well, I guess there's nobody in here. Go to another room. But they kind of gave themselves away. Oh, chat. I don't know if that kid gets like an award for his performance, but even just the little like, oh no, why is he getting out the lightsaber? Crushed it. Great stuff. Edward. Oh no, Randall. Climbing over the top of chat. So OKC has gotten a little bit in the lead here, 91-79. Sound switch, chat. Uh-oh. OKC, they've earned it, chat. It's not a demotion. It's a promotion. They've earned the ability to get muted. A comfortable lead. Shea spinning, driving, Chet. Oh, the offensive rebound. Chet trying to do work in the middle. Trying to hold up. Wait a second, chat. So, am I crazy? Am I, again, not a Star Wars fan and am just now putting the pieces together and just now realizing stuff? But this is, or maybe it's just the same actor and they recast him. But what show is General Leia the little girl in, where they go back in time? I forget what show that is, but I remember seeing that in one of the Star Wars things. I don't think it was, maybe it was Obi-Wan. Yeah, it is Obi-Wan, chat. It's the Obi-Wan show, because that guy's in the Obi-Wan show that they were just firing out there. So he makes an escape, so maybe that's why he's in it. He gets away, and then they're able to, you know, they trust him. He's able to take one of the kids afterwards. But I guess I didn't realize that he was also in the movie as well, too. Again, you know, side characters, greater Star Wars universe. You know, forgive me, chat. But we're, I guess, learning, we're connecting the pieces. That's why the universe is great as well, too. You go back and, like we're saying, you know, this guy, we just unlocked a whole other backstory for this guy. Be like, hey, I know that guy. I know what that guy was up to for a stretch of history there in the Star Wars universe. And I kind of like that guy. He did some good stuff. He was a good guy. I think maybe there was a, you know, his planet got roasted at one point. So, you know, his run is maybe not much longer after this, chat. But, oh, Yoda. Wait, so he exiles himself? What happens? He just is so, he taps out? Is that kind of a, is Yoda just tapping out? Do I need to go back and look at the plot and see what his actual motivation for firing away is? The Sith just too powerful. Yoda can't do anything about it. Yoda, chat, he's like, LeBron went to the Heat. Or I guess more like Durant went to the Warriors. I'm just retiring. I guess more like if LeBron just retired when Durant went to the Warriors. I guess we could pull up the plot. I guess, you know, we know the plot to the movie, so it's not going to spoil it if we get the plot here. Did Yoda exile himself? Because I feel like I'm, you know, yeah, I should just be paying attention to one or the other, chat. But, or we should just know. A lot of times with the rewatch movies too, you know, sometimes I'll have rewatched it in the recent past. I guess by the time we get to the rewatch, you know, again, to catch up to make sure you're like, yeah, I got the beats of all the movie. But this movie, I was like, yeah, you know, we'll just throw it on. It's Star Wars, chat. You know what's up. Am I going to watch Revenge of the Sith twice in 2 weeks? Hey, yo. But Palpatine tempts Anakin. Obi-Wan and Yoda survive Order 66 and learn Anakin has turned to the dark side. On Coruscant, is that the Grievous planet? Yoda instructs Obi-Wan to confront Vader while he faces Palpatine. Obi-Wan seeks out Padme and discovers Vader's whereabouts. Padme travels to Mustafar. Wait a second. So yeah, meanwhile, Yoda does he go to battle Yoda at this point? Or not to battle Yoda. He's going to battle Palpatine. So maybe he exiles himself a little bit later. We're getting ahead of ourselves. He was going off on the spaceship with a look there, so it had a bit of a, I'll see you all in like 45, 50 years. I guess more Luke Skywalker, maybe more like 25, 30 years type ordeal. Maybe like 18, 20 years. Who knows? But OKC, corner 3, Lou Dort, timeout. What's the score here now? Oh, wait, there it is. 70. Oh, we're not updated at all. Let's go back here and see what we got. Going into timeout. Officially, Thunder putting the game away. We're probably in the 99 to 84. What's the win percentage? 4.5 left. Yeah, Minnesota. They're done, chat. Minnesota, I feel like they're a team that once they've lost, you know. They'll storm back, but 99.6, okay. Still not 99.9. Hey, yo, something's going on. Just a glimmer of hope. Uh-oh, Padmane. If you start hearing Anakin start talking about the dark side, you're like, wait. What's going on? You're like, I definitely, you know, I want to trust this guy. I want to make sure that, you know, we're cool, chat. Like, you know, if we're in Padmane's shoes, like, we're cool with Anakin. We're trying to hang out with this guy for as long as possible. But he's hanging out with some sketchy friends. It would seem like Palpatine. Maybe not the best crowd. Though, again, you know, the Jedi, I mean, they're definitely great. But I guess she's... you know, we'd have to know more of the full story of the Empire, the entire Empire. But, hey, yo, chat, we only know like half of the Star Wars history here. But I guess, because she's loyal to Anakin and she's loyal to the Jedi because she's loyal to that side. But she's not, like, Jedi type, right? Like, I feel like if she was... She could be talked into the pro-dark side stuff if there was a good reasoning. I think, well, you know, I guess she runs from Anakin and the dark side in the end, so maybe not. But, you know, she's a counselor. She was a political leader beforehand. She's a queen or whatever. So it's not like she was Force, lightsaber, Jedi, all this stuff beforehand. So, you know, I don't know if there's some leeway there for Maybe Palpatine needed to take her over to the theater and tell her about Darth Plagueis the Wise and say, hey, yo. But, you know, maybe a little story time with Emperor Palpatine, and the next thing you know, Padmane's in the, you know, Darth Vader suit as well. Darth Vader-esque, chat? I don't know what the title is, but Darth Padmane? Yeah, so who is this guy that takes Leia? He must be a real trusty guy. Because, again, you know, and same with Luke, chat, as much as, and I know that's probably a debated thing about why did Ben, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi not take Luke Skywalker in general, and just the idea of hiding him out as well, too. Like, if you put him with Obi-Wan, you know, the Empire is pursuing Obi-Wan, so they're going to be pursuing, it's just easy. They just, you know, it's like how the two guys that know the Coca-Cola recipe or like the KFC recipe, like, can't fly in the same plane together. Like, just in case, chat, we can't lose them both, you know. We got to keep them separate at all times. So it's like, okay, we can't have the two of them, you know, at the same time in the same area. Like, we can't have Obi-Wan and Luke Skywalker at the same time all the time. But it's still like, okay, this is some... These kids are like, okay, you know, there's some stakes here, chat, with getting these people into it. You know, not to say with anybody, but with getting these people into adulthood and maybe some prophecies needing to be fulfilled here. So I don't know, you know, maybe the prophecies are going to... You know, chat, maybe just trust the prophecy. But still, you're like, okay, who's just this farmer cousin guy that's out here just taking care of Luke Skywalker? It's like, wait a second, who was MJ's coach like the first couple of years there? It's like, who was in charge of Luke Skywalker his first like 7 years before, or I guess his schooling years before Obi-Wan finally walked into the picture? So, okay, Yoda hasn't tapped out yet. I was going to say, if Yoda sends Obi-Wan off and then just taps out, that would be crazy leadership stuff by our guy Yoda. OKC gets to 100, chat. 101-86. So I think is that officially knockout blow? Hey, yo, Minnesota on the ropes territory. Naz Reid for 3. Yeah, Naz Reid not cooking tonight, chat. It is what it is. So what's the name of the lava planet? Hey, yo. Lava planet is... Oh, wait, are we scrolling too far ahead? Instructs him. Obi-Wan seeks him in his treachery. Aboards a ship. He pleads. It doesn't say what the planet is. Obi-Wan seeks out Padmane to discover Darth Vader's whereabouts and reveal his treachery. Padmane... Mustafar, chat. Yeah. Okay, so Mustafar. We are on Mustafar. I guess we're cruising, chat. I guess this is a good 2 hours and 33 minutes. Oh, no, we still got 48 left. I guess maybe we spent a little bit more time on Mustafar than I thought. Because that lightsaber fight is the end, right? That's the last of the movie that I've seen. Once he gets taken out by Obi-Wan at the end there. but there's not a lot going on afterwards. So I don't know what we have left, chat. He's got the younglings. He got Mace Windu halfway through. So now fully Lord Vader hanging out in the villain's pub, chat. He made his way to the villain's pub. He finally gets to hang out with all the top council, the bad guys. Oh, Order 66. Fully executed. Yoda! Doing work, chat. Some high-powered Yoda fighting scenes. Yoda and Obi-Wan. How many times do Yoda and Obi-Wan fight in a scene together? I feel like, because again, Obi-Wan, we lose Obi-Wan in the first movie, Star Wars 1. So it's not like he's around to fight. Because Yoda trains Luke Skywalker. And then does Yoda go Jedi Ghost at some point there? Or does he just kind of drift off at the end? I forget if he actually gives himself up in a fight. I forget how the Yoda story actually ends up there. Or if it's just like, okay, yeah, we won. Like, you know, I've been around 900 years. I'll just slip off now. I'll just take off and retire to be a Jedi Ghost. But, oh, the younglings, chat. Yikes. Not even the younglings. Yeah. At that. See, even Yoda, it takes him a second to know that. And maybe that's just like the sort of oh, our friend, we can't believe our friend did this type of thing. But even Yoda takes him a second to be like, what happened here? If the Force sensibilities have the ability to kind of know this stuff that's going on. Oh, I guess this isn't the villain pub. I guess he's killing all these guys here. Or Palpatine's just having him kill all the other villain leaders just in case. But they called him Lord Vader before that, so it's not like they weren't, you know, it didn't seem like they were necessarily going to be a threat to him at that point. So does anybody get a little bit suspicious when Emperor Palpatine shows up to the... It's like, wait a second, why does Emperor Palpatine look like he caught a little bit too much sun here? Like, Emperor Palpatine, you didn't go use any sunscreen last time you were out there? You just all shriveled up now? Did Emperor Palpatine take a shower for too long before this council meeting? Like, why is this guy all raisined up? Like, I feel like there might be some questions on the Palpatine appearance. Again, you know, in this, maybe the Star Wars universe is the one place he can disguise. He's like, actually, you didn't know my species has a midlife crisis where we get lots of wrinkles. But you would be wondering why just all of a sudden overnight, I think, Emperor Palpatine just looks dramatically different. Okay, so that guy that was sitting in the theater next to him that he kicks out before he tells the Plagueis the Wise story is the guy that is sitting next to him here in the council meeting. So obviously, you know, some right-hand man, not just, again, another just random season ticket holder with seats next to him in the same booth. I guess that was a private box, so you wouldn't necessarily have multiple season ticket holders in the same private box. You know, multiple season ticket holders, same row next to each other, just, you know, buy a couple of seats. But if you get a box, you know, you get, hey, yo, whoa. I was gonna say, if you get a box, you get the privacy of the box. But what am I talking about, chat? We're talking about luxury boxes at a NBA game or a Star Wars concert. So I was gonna, you know, Star Wars, they do have sports. I guess if you're giving a sort of dramatic scene, an opera or some type of theater, Broadway show is an appropriate setting for that. But, you know, maybe just for entertainment, maybe like for, you know, what do we got? Memorial Day, chat? 4th of July? Maybe like 4th of July, Emperor Palpatine takes Darth Vader and the crew out to a, what do they call them, chat? What are the racers? What are the drag races called in Star Wars? I forget now. Oh, I should know, chat. Pod races, right? They're pod races? Like, does he get season tickets to does the Emperor just get season tickets to all the events because he's the Emperor and because he sort of runs the galaxy? Like, can he just show up? Does he have a luxury box to the pod races and to the Empire shows and to the, I guess, what other sports do they have there, chat? Those are the only ones that they got to have some other type of, maybe just a lot of races. But do they have any sort of actual competitive competitions? Like basketball? You know, I guess lightsaber duels as well. There's got to be some type of sword fighting, dueling competition that goes on. You know, best Jedi. Do they have weight divisions? Who's the number one welterweight Jedi Sith in the rankings right now for the fight? Do they have individual leagues, or is it all just one? The Sith have their own league. Like the Sith League, you can do steroids, but the Jedi League, you have to, all natty. Who knows? Bench time, chat? I think so. OKC is going to get this one. They're up 18 right now, so they might get like a little, a little 20-point win here in game one. Impressive stuff. Minnesota, they did have the injuries throughout the game. They lost Edwards for a couple minutes. They lost Randall maybe there for a couple minutes. I guess we didn't see what happened fully, but maybe there's some momentum. We can say okay, we get everybody out there for the court for one game. Adjusted, it is what it is. But game one environment, Minnesota, very strong start. They look confident, first 8 or whatever points right away. Yes, second half, Minnesota, the 40 points is, I guess you hold a team to 80 points. It's a pretty good defensive performance in a game. I'm not saying that. But OKC's offense as well, too, just much more impressive in the second half. 63 points, really balancing both well there. So, impressive stuff, chat. Impressive stuff from the Thunder. Continue to look terrifying. Maybe the odds makers do know what they're talking about. At the end of the day, the three-pointer is going to push this to 20. So, what do we need to spoil the odds? The odds are definitely closer for Knicks Pacers. The Knicks are favored though. So, maybe the knowledgeable pick series is Knicks versus Thunder, but the fan series is Pacers versus Timberwolves, but the league series is Timberwolves versus Knicks. In the series that nobody wants is Thunder versus Pacers, I guess. Though there really is no bad combination at this point for the 4 teams, to be honest. And again, in terms of for the fans, which one do we want to see? I don't think there really is a bad option. I think all these teams are likable in some way. I think that's a really nice thing about these playoffs. And maybe, again, Star Wars is on, chat. Maybe we do need a good villain team as well. Maybe a villain team will emerge. Maybe the Knicks can be a villain team, but they're just so likable, chat. Brunson and Bridges and Josh Hart. Who doesn't like the villain? And, Brunson as well, too, specifically. We're all rooting for Brunson as a star player. And to have turned that New York franchise around already, but it's wow, Jalen Brunson is going to be the one that could potentially bring a title to the Knicks? That's crazy, chat. That's legendary stuff from our guy Brunson. And I don't think there's an NBA fan that wouldn't necessarily feel good for Jalen Brunson winning that finals. So, I kind of think, honestly, again, shout out to Mike Conley. I think Mike Conley is obviously, if we can trade Mike Conley to whoever wins the finals and just get him a ring, I'm honestly okay with that. But Brunson might be the number one guy that's guys I want to see win the title. Brunson is in the mix. And Brunson, I could be by. Brunson might be my favorite player left in the playoffs at this point. Now that Westbrook is out, chat, it may be Brunson, because Westbrook would have been a fun first title guy as well, too. There was a post that I saw that was which one of these guys is going to get their first title? And it was Halliburton, Shea, Anthony Edwards, and Russell Westbrook. And it's oh man, which one of these guys is going back for their GED? Who's the guy that stands out in the community college classroom, chat? Russell Westbrook getting the title a little bit late there, but getting his first title, of course, would have been super fantastic stuff. So now that he's out, honestly, again, Brunson would be number one. I could definitely see myself, after sitting down and thinking about it, chat, I could predict myself to put Karl Anthony Towns at number 2 as well, and Bridges at number 3. So am I rooting for the New York Knicks to win the title? Am I rooting for the Knicks, chat? I don't think that's something that I have necessarily, self-realized, I guess, at this point, or if that's even the right way to use that term, but I guess not necessarily something that I admitted to myself. But it may be true. It may be true. I may want the Knicks to win the finals. And maybe it's not the franchise again. Maybe it's just the individual players on the team. But regardless, that's the fun stuff. And again, we were saying, Westbrook kind of stood out from that graphic. There's some, he's been in the league a little bit longer than some of those guys. But Brunson, there was, at least if we were comparing those guys, there is a little bit of a tier thing there where Westbrook was the veteran. Brunson is kind of the in the peak of his powers, middle of his career type guy, and then you got, of course, Shea and Edwards and Halliburton being the younger guys, just sort of having their turn anyway. You know, obviously their run's not just getting started, but their turns at sort of the top dominating, just getting underway. But, and maybe, again, it is sort of like Shea and Edwards and all these guys are sort of in the timeline more with Wembanyama, whereas Brunson, I think, is a little bit more of a step. It's just a different thing. Like, we can compare Brunson and Wembanyama. I mean, we definitely will, chat, and there will be because, again, we're going to have conversations about all these guys for whatever in the league, but there'll be points where it's like, who would you rather have? Oh, Brunson did this with his team in the playoffs versus Wemby hasn't quite accomplished this stuff yet, or however you want to say it. But in terms of the ultimate sort of tier conversation of it, Wemby's always going to have that age factor. I mean, to a certain degree. I mean, at what point, with injuries and stuff, like, who knows what the history of that would be. But, he'll have that age thing. And I guess how that puts him behind the time scale in the contract stuff as well, too, where Brunson will just always be a step ahead. So I guess if Brunson's always taking discounts, it is what it is. But with him being a step ahead, Wemby's just going to have some different things working in his advantage as well, too. And like the who would you rather build a team around, who gets beneficial for the books and all that type of stuff. But I guess it's not up to compare Wemby and Brunson. But again, Brunson's just battling with the different tier of guys. I think more in the Tatum-y type run. Tatum and Luka, it's a little bit of a mini tier of like the younger guys in the league. But, and like we're saying, Towns has been around for a decade. Bridges is kind of at the peak of his powers as well. So I do think that the Knicks would be the team that I guess I'd chat. The team that I would like to see most win the title. I'd be happiest for anyways that won the title would be the Knicks. And, them getting back into the title contending mix, them winning after all these years, them just being a competitive franchise again. The idea of seeing the New York team actually become a champion, chat, because like we're saying, at least for the Lakers and the Celtics, the Celtics have been, I think, of the big market teams, the most consistent with putting out the winners. The Lakers have obviously gotten a lot more stars and a lot more flashy players and maybe some better top-end teams. But at least, and they've had the down years as well, too. So they've had some really bad years in there. But they've also won some finals and had some final contending type teams very recently that we can recall in multiple versions of it. Same with the Celtics. So the San Antonio has emerged as like a dynasty level type contending team. And, even now, even though we're not contending, it's like the competence and the building and of it all is like still there. So the fact that the Knicks fans just have had none of that for being a big market team. And, like the Clippers and the Nets and those secondary big city teams as well, too. Like even Miami, Miami's won the finals. Dallas has won a finals. I guess Houston, if we're just doing the big city rankings, and Philly would be the other ones. Uh-oh, chat. Here we go. Anakin versus Obi-Wan, the showdown. Uh-oh, chat. Uh-oh. The dark side has twisted his mind. Obi-Wan, he's going to have to get... Hey, pause. He's got to have to get the saber out. It is what it is. They circle each other for a second. I mean, where does this rank we were talking about lightsaber fights. What about just sword fights in general, chat? Oh, excuse me. Where does this rank all time in sword fights? I don't know, the actual moves, if there's some actual better technically done sword fights. But the stakes of this sword fight, chat? Is there a sword fight with higher stakes? The chosen one on the line? The potential fate of the Jedi in the Sith universe? The setting as well, too. Mustafar? The lava planet? Is there a better setting for a sword fight as well? In lava? We need just more lava settings in movies, chat. We need a whole action movie lava set piece. The two lava set pieces that I can think of right away, and this is a proof that we need more of them, is obviously Mustafar here for this final fight, and the house that Syndrome has in The Incredibles. The dinner that they have he has with that lady where Syndrome doesn't show up. It's like in this lava volcano thing, obviously. So we need more lava set pieces in action movies. I think would be a major piece. So do we get the Anakin Obi-Wan lightsaber fight at the same time as the Palpatine Yoda fight shot? I mean, this shows you I just need to rewatch the movie because it seemed like basic knowledge for the plot. But I guess as well too, the problem is you can get into rewatching some of this stuff on YouTube as well. So like the Anakin and Obi-Wan fight, and as well too the Palpatine and Yoda fight, you watch those kind of cut up together individually. So when you watch you're watching Anakin versus Obi-Wan, you're just used to, oh, this is just the fight all the way through versus, the actual cutting back and forth between the actual movie. So Anakin, of course, and I think, intentionally done this way, but the more offensive fighter, Obi-Wan, backpedaling the defensive fighter all throughout. So who knows how long Obi-Wan would have carried it on for, chat. Of course, he gets the high ground. Anakin makes a bad move. Obi-Wan, the veteran, capitalizes. Unfortunately, really costly move for Anakin as well, too. But again, Obi-Wan, I guess I can't say Obi-Wan was never going to attack. He was just going to wait for the moment. That's really what it is, chat. The patience of Obi-Wan. Waiting for Anakin to commit a turnover. And it finally happened. And I forget if the Yoda Palpatine fight is more of a draw, right? I guess spoiler alert, we'll see what happens. But I don't think Yoda necessarily walks away from this one the winner. Obviously, Palpatine walks away alive versus Anakin walks away on life support. Yoda walks away alive, obviously, as well, too. But, I mean, definitely had a chance here to really put an end to the next 3 movies. Palpatine with the lightsaber as well. And really, again, the one sort of Palpatine fight, saber fight, if I'm not mistaken, you get through the entire show. Does he have a saber fight at the end? Because I don't think he's fighting with the saber in the first in the first trilogy, if I'm not mistaken. I think he just got the electrical powers. And I think it's more of a, the Joker side of the strike me down and let the dark side win. I think he's trying to do that stuff with Luke as well, too. Pause. In the first trilogy. Oh, the Force. Anakin, he's got Obi-Wan in the chokehold. The kick by Anakin, the Ronaldo Messi backspin kick, gets him out. Oh! The kicks gets Anakin down. So really, maybe Obi-Wan sort of left that part of Anakin's game untrained, just in case this day would happen. But you can see the advantage in Obi's fighting is Anakin, again, much more of a sword fighter. Maybe the MMA stuff is not fully well-rounded for Anakin Skywalker. And again, with Vader as well, he becomes more powerful and gets power in the suit. The Force itself, his abilities with that become more dangerous. So it's not like he necessarily has to develop into... Again, he becomes a better fighter, but it's not like he has to become a better fighter without the lightsaber, essentially. Whereas a guy like Obi-Wan, he's going to have to train those non-saber skills, as well as he is going to have to train to fight with his weapons. So you see him with some of the... Is Muay Thai like kicks and stuff, chat? Some of the Muay Thai, potentially. Some of the kickboxing. I guess, kickboxing, safe bet. Either way. And, we could have also... I over here complaining about less lava stuff. I feel like we could have spent more time on Mustafar throughout the course of the Star Wars franchise in general. Maybe they go back to Mustafar in the newest 3 trilogy, but Rogue One obviously takes place leading up into the first Star Wars movie, so I don't think they really go there. But I'm feeling food all over the place. We could have used another set piece or two. We could have spent a little bit more time on this planet. I think really taking advantage of it. Palpatine using the theater to his advantage. There's going to be some remodeling needing done. Hopefully they were planning for a new auditorium anyways, because They're going to be run about half capacity after this fight. Palpatine just destroyed a bunch of the seats. So Yoda was trying to keep the historic auditorium in good condition, but he's had enough. He has to finally throw a section, I guess, at Palpatine. No moon. Take a load for take a page out of Thanos' book and throw a moon at him or something. I guess throw a load and throw a moon are both kind of crazy. But Yoda turning the power of the Force back on Palpatine. Where was that sooner? I guess it does exhaust Yoda quite a bit, so not necessarily more of a finishing move than a Yoda, don't fall! Oh, Yoda! Again, Yoda, the power of the Force. I know you can't necessarily fly, but he can't sort of brace his fall. Same with Palpatine. Palpatine's over here dangling by whatever, and he's got lightning capabilities. He can't, like, almost fall to the floor and then use his lightning to, like, hover right above the ground or something, and then just kind of drop down. You know, Chad, why can't he just jump out of the plane right before it hits the ground, essentially, is what we're asking. But if Yoda's got Force capabilities, he should be able to not... So, I don't know, maybe the Force capabilities, you know, it's like a gyroscope or something. You need to be balanced. You can't be falling. But, you know, like, they use the Force to leap and jump and do all kinds of stuff. So, again, maybe, you know, pushing off. I don't know. But you think just the idea of the control that the Force would have, Yoda would be able to have some... Yoda, where's the hang time? Yoda would obviously not be capable in the dunk contest because he has no body control. So again, he is older at this point. Maybe we shouldn't judge him too harshly. But chat, reduced to crawling through the airwaves, the vents. That's like real... You know, that's a real, not rookie move, but amateur, you know. What do I do? How do I get away? What's the last resort? Oh, the vents, the ceiling. And somehow this room doesn't even have a ceiling, but he's in the vents somewhere. Who even knows really what this building is, to be honest? Maybe Mustafar gets destroyed? I don't know. You know, it is in bad shape with the lava kind of all over the place. But maybe, you know, more inhabitable than destroyed. Maybe the planet itself still exists, but just no place to land. Only helicopter tours of Mustafar at this point. Unfortunately, the lava, too much. Not really a place to put down, but maybe a couple of artifacts are like floating around that you could find. You could just have a random floating helicopter pad and like, well, you know, we'll circle around a couple times, see if we can find it, and then land on Mustafar. See what happens. Oh, chat, we're making a big mess. We're going to have to clean out these couch cushions afterwards. Ayo, because we've dropped about half this jar of trail mix down into the couch. But it is what it is. We can get it later. So there we go. Yoda, I must go into exile. Failed, have I? The guy just immediately turns the car around and says, okay, yes, I'll take you, Yoda, the best Jedi of all time, to exile. No conversation by our guy. I mean, again, our trusted guy, you know, gets Leia afterwards as well, too. Seems like a good father figure to one of the most important characters in Star Wars history. But no potential talk of Yoda trying to convince him to stay. And maybe they need secretly Yoda in exile to stay alive to get to Luke Skywalker, because I'm sure the Empire's chasing Yoda. If Yoda's actively out there, then his ability to get caught, of course, is going to go up. So yeah, I mean, there we go. Obi-Wan using the Force to kind of boost his swing over onto the floating debris there. Like, again, Yoda should be able to just kind of take less of a tumble. And maybe the Force is what cushions him from breaking all of his ribs in his hip at 900 years old, taking a tumble down an amphitheater as well, too. Which is also a very realistic possibility. Yoda having to go in exile because he had hip surgery. Yoda with a metal hip now, apparently not as... not as limber as he used to be, chat. It is what it is, but hey. You live 892 years with a real hip. That's a good run. They say typically a lot of people give hip replacement at year like 650. So he's usually doing he's doing pretty good. But the eyes, chat. Obi-Wan, of course he takes the blame. But that kind of nod right there, I've never noticed that before. That's kind of like a, okay, we're going now, chat, we're going. We gotta lock in. One of the lock-ins of all time, chat. Obi-Wan versus Anakin. I guess they're kind of using the Force as well too to power their little hoverboards situations. I mean, Anakin, you got to take him down at some point here. Like, hey, yo. The flip over the top, which is essentially the same thing that he does a little bit later. I guess they're both on the same elevation when he starts. But maybe Obi-Wan game plans him on that first flip. So, yeah, he immediately flips off once they get to land. So, or, you know, he's getting off, obviously. But, hey, yo, pause. But, maybe he's like, okay, set him back up to run that play again, you know? We got the defense to counter it now. The warning. The flip over the top. Don't do it, Anakin. No. Why would you do it, Anakin? I mean, obviously the whole turn, but just a few. Get on the land and fight him on the land. You had a chance. And obviously we can't have Anakin winning, but maybe we do want Anakin to win because when he loses, you know, then you get Darth Vader, chat. You know, you got a terrifying result as well, too. I mean, you know, Obi-Wan maybe finish the job at some point here. But the odds of survival, I mean, it really is like a 99% win percentage, you know, deficit that he makes up here, just survival. It's the survival, I guess, death meter at 99.9% for Anakin Skywalker before. And maybe he does technically flatline here at some point as well, too, if we're, you know, really digging into the medical weeds about the Anakin diagnosis. But unfortunately, Obi-Wan, you know, he'll do what is necessary, chat. As much as he claims to have loved Anakin, it's like, well, I'll still brutally murder him and then just let him burn. Obi-Wan, if you actually, you know, put him out of his misery. Hey, yo! Obi-Wan! Oh, what are you doing, Obi-Wan? I can't even watch. Obi-Wan looks back over! Obi-Wan may be a little bit more screwed up than we thought, honestly. Obi-Wan actually... the worst result possible, Chad. And again, you know, with what we get... I'm not saying that Anakin himself was thriving in those Darth Vader years. You know, maybe he's taken out his pain, obviously, on the galaxy, being the villain that he is. But Obi-Wan, if he was your brother, you gotta... I think you actually gotta kill him there. You gotta just... You gotta end him. The minute he catches on fire, you're like, oh boy, this is gonna be painful. I mean, and he's already in pain anyways from you having just cut him in half. But you gotta take him out, chat. Not just for the greater good of the galaxy and him, you know, making the evil turn, but for the love of the brother. You're gonna edge him all the way to death and then just leave him on death's door. Obi-Wan's a menace, chat. Obi-Wan's a diabolical one. That's fair. Obi Diabolical One Kenobi is really his name. So the Emperor seizes them. I mean, immediate tracker on our guy. Oh, I guess that's Obi-Wan leaving the planet. Shout out CP3O. Even CP3O, no, like, you know, robot capabilities to go over and just a little electrical shock for the finish. I mean, chat, that's not good. That is not good. Is singed the right way to use that word there? A nice crispy Anakin Skywalker. Hey, yo. How do you want your Anakin Skywalker? Emperor Palpatine's a well done, chat. Well done. Yikes. Luckily, he's got the equipment. Technology's pretty good on Mustafar. The fact that Anakin is still alive as well, too, is just, you know, I don't even know how this is possible, to be honest. I mean, you know, this is the one time don't DM us and tell us how he lived after being caught on fire. I'm good. It's a fake movie, so I can get behind some of the fake plot points for the greater picture of it. He needs to be Darth Vader. And again, you know, I guess they can technically kill him and bring him back, and it could still make sense in a fake plot, which is essentially what they do. But, I mean, he was even crawling up the hill, like using his arm to crawl up the hill. The fact that he had any strength to pull his body forward is why he's Anakin Skywalker. Goated, chat. Goated. Meanwhile, Yoda just tapping out, submission, right into the jungle planet. Tough stuff for Yoda. I mean, he's taking his time. He's giving it to the last second. But again, where's our guy being like, Master Yoda, do you want to reconsider? Master Yoda, I'll go halvesies with you on a condo on Tatooine, and you can still be in the mix. Like, you don't have to go fully off into... So maybe Yoda's just sick of it at this point. Yoda's like, I'm done. 900 years. The Sith have been around. The Jedi... You know, all these Jedi, there's chosen ones and not chosen ones. There's Jedis that are dying. Grievous is taking all their lightsabers. Like, I'm good. You know, if Anakin's... I mean, you know, that's kind of the point of the Jedi. It's like, if Anakin's not going to make it, then nobody's going to make it. But if Yoda's tapping out, then it's like, yeah. They've... definitely time for the Jedi to disband. See you later. We follow Yoda's lead in this case. He does wait for the kids to get born. So again, big picture. Staying alive. Staying alive. Staying alive. Very important for Yoda. They need him. They need him maybe as well too. Familiar with the jungle environment so he can set up a good training regimen for Luke Skywalker. You know, I mean... He's got the area nailed down after 20 plus years of exile. So, I mean, for Yoda's lifespan, and maybe there was a period where he wasn't exiled for a long time or whatever, but really, again, like a 20-year exile is not too bad. That is sort of a franchise reset, like a trust the process from our guy Yoda. Yoda said, trust the process. We get some new talent, let the new talent develop. And pretty soon, these guys will be taking us to a championship. I'll be back in to coach us. So, let Luke Skywalker and Leia get some time in the G League. Let them put up some points. And then we'll get him back in for championship game. Luke and Leia. Two very normal names for our guy, or for our girl Padme in chat. Very easy to remember. Maybe as well, too, kind of fitting in. Though, again, Luke and Leia, maybe they kind of stand out with how normal they are. I mean, literally everybody in this... I mean, Mace Windu might be the most normal name. His name's Mace. Like, with a C. Not even Mace short for Mace. Is his name Mason Windu? I don't know if that's what we got going on. But, I mean, we've got Palpatine, Dooku, Padme... You know, Anakin Skywalker. Anakin is Skywalker is such a normal name because of Anakin Skywalker, but as an actual name, like Anakin Skywalker, you know, not a little unique. Oh yeah, chat. So as they put the helmet on, okay, you can kind of see the technology going on in the eyes and all that different stuff. I guess I just haven't, you know, paid attention or done the deep dive on what's going on with the suit, but. I mean, iconic entrance to the hiss, chat, the thud. The beautiful shot of it just laying on the side like that. Chat. Darth Vader. Goated! One of the greats. But she didn't have time, apparently, to cook up a good galaxy name for Luke Skywalker. We should ask ChatGPT, what should Luke Skywalker's of actual... What's his galaxy name? His Tatooine name. His name in hiding, his actor name, is Luke Skywalker. But what's the name on the actual birth certificate? R.I.P. Padme. Yikes, chat. Apparently Natalie Portman couldn't be around for the first 3 movies in the 70s, so she has to die in the trilogy. But Darth Vader lives! Darth Vader lives, chat! I guess it is Vader, too. Is Anakin dead? Hey, yo, chap. That's always the conversation. Okay, one more bite of the snacks, chat. We're running low on the supply here anyways. But, what do? You gotta get a couple of good snacks for
A lightsaber battle, chat. And you gotta make a mess every time. I was like, wait a second, what happened? The game just got close again? But no, they were showing highlights. It's like, I thought it was over. It is what it is. Oh, Vader. James Earl Jones, shut up! The GOAT, the legend. We'll just have to watch Eddie Murphy Coming to America. Maybe the best James Earl Jones movie. Is that the best James Earl Jones movie, champ? It might be. It might be. I guess outside of Vader. Got to give Vader his credit as well, too. Palpatine, sort of the Sam Presti of the Sith, who's really assembled himself quite a team. And really, maybe honestly more like the Spurs of the Sith as well. Because, hey, yo, chat, but his ability to have the next guy in place every time. So he's kind of actively, you know, replacing his own guys. So maybe there's a different, maybe he's more of a Howie Roseman character. Actively trading and trying to get better and all that stuff. Versus, you know, the Spurs, it's like Gervin's the guy for a while. His career runs out. Robinson steps in. As his career starts to tail off, you know, we get Duncan, and then Duncan takes the reins from Robinson. Everybody's career just kind of naturally fades away, and the next guy just kind of naturally steps in at the right time and takes over. Versus Emperor Palpatine's like, every time he sees a opportunity to make an increase, he's like, okay, pounce on it. Let me see. Let's upgrade here. How many first-round picks do we have to trade to get Count Dooku? Count Dooku and 2 firsts for Darth Vader? I think it was Count Dooku in Order 66. It's something like that for Darth Vader. But Yoda still, I mean, again, we were giving him a lot of crap, chat, for not going into exile, but you know, he waits till the end of the movies, so he's doing a good job. He's making sure the places are, he's getting orders set straight for the next generation, for the next phase. Oh, he's going to teach Obi-Wan how to communicate with Qui-Gon Jinn? Do we get a Qui-Gon cameo in this? They could have brought Liam Neeson in for like a half a day, film one scene. They don't even need to bring him in, chat. They're just like, go to Liam Neeson's house and fill a hologram scene. I mean, now in 2025, they could just probably just Zoom call in the hologram scene shoot and just make it work that way. But what's this, the Padme funeral? Chat, I don't know if there's any other Star Wars funerals. This is a look into the culture. I guess this would be more her planet, the Jar Jar Binks people, how they conduct funerals on land. Because you'd have to see like maybe a Tatooine funeral or a... What's a Mustafar funeral? I think that's what Anakin Skywalker... that's what he got, chat. It's just you kind of just barely catch on fire and you just burn right up. But shout out to Portman. One of the iconic goofy characters in action movie history. Great stuff, chat. And I guess now that we're back in space as well, too, I realized that outside of that opening, kind of bookended by space here, but outside of those 2 scenes, there's kind of not a lot of space stuff in this one. So I don't know if that kind of adds to like, hey, is this check the box? Because again, not to say that we wouldn't be into like a space piloting movie, but some of the landy, lightsabery stuff is, maybe more cool as well, too. The Death Star, chat, of course. Here we go. Perfectly set up. 3 more movies already out, but the story still to follow, I guess. Oh, wait, are they dropping off Leia? Is this the Himalayas where they take Leia? I didn't know this city was in Nepal somewhere, chat. Flying these ships into Nepal. Dropping off Leia on Mount Everest somewhere. And up until... Well, I guess Obi-Wan would be only a few years after that. And then where does she go after Obi-Wan, Chad? Where does she go? Is she with Obi-Wan? Because I don't know what happens between Leia's like a little kid, and then grows up to where she's transmitting the messages and all the stuff at the first Star Wars movies. But Chad, I'm back in. I'm gonna be on a Star Wars kick now. I guess we're still in the middle of a Denzel kick, like we were saying. So that's always gonna be the case. But Denzel in a Star Wars movie, that might make the case at that point for our new favorite Star Wars movie. Denzel Skywalker. Can we just get that character in there? I don't even know if that needs to be Denzel. We just need somebody named Denzel Skywalker.
at some point. So shout out. I mean, you know, you get Leia in the nice setup, the nice rich home, all the people. Luke, unfortunately, you know, goes to the farmland, chat. It is what it is, but that's how it goes. Obi-Wan off to just hang out, to just go work in a factory somewhere, I guess. You think, again, even though the Jedi don't exist, like, you just go do secret vigilante good guy Jedi things, which I guess he kind of does. But, you know, he did tap out there for a second as well, too. He's like, I'm good. I'm going to go work on this assembly line for a second or wherever he's at in Obi-Wan. So there we go, chat. Thunder take game 1. Obi-Wan takes game 3 in Star Wars, I guess. Anakin. I guess that could be game 1, though, if we count that as Obi-Wan versus Anakin. Or Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader. That side of things. Because, again, they do fight later, of course. You know, an older, out of his prime Obi-Wan. So you'd expect Anakin to get the win there. And he does pretty easily. But, yeah, iconic stuff, chat. Like I was saying, the Star Wars movie that, at least at this point, is the one that I enjoy the most. So, definitely a fun time rewatching it here. But, conference finals, just getting started, chat. That was game 1 for the West. We've got Eastern Conference, more Western Conference, and the playoffs, chat. This is, I mean, lock-in time for the NBA playoffs. So, we'll be locked in here on the REMINGTOM pod. Of course, you can subscribe on the YouTube. The live streams will go up on the podcast feeds a little bit later. Apple, Spotify, all the different stuff, chat. You can find them over there as well. And the messages are open if you want to send us some messages. The DMs are open, I should say, at REMINGTOM pod on Instagram if you guys want to connect with us that way as well, too. But, yeah, we'll be back watching more playoff games, watching who knows what else, chat. WNBA as well, too. Maybe, probably not other Star Wars movies, but maybe something else. Who knows, chat? You'll just have to stay tuned and find out next time when we're back, chat. We'll see y'all later.